Hey everybody, welcome to the Wadcast podcast. I am your host, Eddie Ift, and this is a extremely special episode because I enjoyed it so much. That's why it was special. We have a couple great guests, but so much to talk about and such an awesome conversation that just went on and on and on because it was fun. It was enjoyable. I could have done it like put the mics down and just talked forever. But we have to stop it at some point. I don't know why, but we did. It's a long one. Hope you enjoy these longer episodes. And we've got a lot going on here at the Wadcast podcast, traveling all over the place. I go to places and I am able to record whatever town I'm in. That's the benefit of being a stand-up comic and being in a different city every week. I was in Las Vegas last week, and I got to interview Margaux Alvarez, who you may know from the CrossFit Games, and her husband, coach, CrossFitter, Alex Cardenas. I hope I said it right. We talked about that during the show, but I should get it right because he's my new best friend. We had a really good time. They'd come out to my show a couple shows, and we hung out and just really cool people. Talked a lot about their new winemaking venture. Margaux is this is going to sound crazy. She's one of those longest drivers. And that's not like she gets in the car and drives for a long time. She hits a golf ball farther than any woman. Do you see how I said farther and not further? A lot of people get that wrong. Farther's distance. Further is like furthermore. But when you're talking about distance, it's farther. My mother always gets me on that. She gets me on lay and lie. And when I say like Bill and I, she'll be like Bill and, or I'll say Bill and me. She'll be like, it's Bill and I. My mother is a grammar Nazi. So anyway, Margaux Alvarez, Alex Cardenas, lots of other stuff. We talked about how she got removed from the L1 staff, what that was all about. Nobody's holding back anymore. Everybody's talking. It used to be everybody was very protective of CrossFit HQ, but now that there's so much chaos going on, people just talk and talk, and she, very reasonable. I understand it. She seems like she was saying all the right things, but it was misconstrued. You'll hear it in the episode. But she's still going to the games because she is on a team. She's on Invictus. All this you can hear during the show. You don't want to hear me tell it. I had to go to Las Vegas. This is the crazy part. I went to Las Vegas to do shows at the Comedy Cellar, which is an incredible comedy club at the Rio Hotel. And I was running a bit late, as I always am. And I drove because I like to keep my car there so I can drive out to Red Rocks. If you've never been out to Red Rocks National Park, it's incredible. You wouldn't realize that Las Vegas has something so beautiful so close, because Las Vegas is the end of the world. It's where fat, gross people are going to reproduce and then die. And they just walk around or razor around in their scooters. You wouldn't believe how many scooters were lined up in the hallway. And they just drink their yards of margaritas, slushy margaritas, as they go around and eat chicken wings. And it's disgusting. And then they just flush all their money down these slot machines and hand it over to the casinos. But I'm on my way there. I'm running late to entertain those fat fucks. And running late, and a tractor trailer overturns with propane on the back. I mean, it's like the beginning of a Chips episode. I'm 4 cars from it. So from where the police stopped us. So I almost made it through. Police stop us. We don't know how long it's going to be. Pull off on the side of the road, and everybody's waiting there. Waiting. We're in a gas station, and I notice a dirt road on the side, and I have 4-wheel drive in my Toyota 4Runner. So I say to the guy at the gas station, who looks like he just came in, over the wall from a refugee camp in Syria, and he did not seem to speak any English. And I said, hey, does that dirt road go anywhere? And he said, yeah. And I said, do you think I can get around the traffic? And he said, yeah. But I don't think he knew what I was asking him at all, because I started taking that dirt road and it took me about 15 miles back into the desert. And at one point, my 4Runner apparently didn't have this piece that holds down my battery. My battery flipped over, all the acid came out, and it shorted my entire electrical system. And, I popped a tire too. No tow truck would come back there. I ended up sleeping in the desert for the night. I kept thank God I had cell phone service. I kept a Mophie battery charged, which was crazy that I just charged it before I left. So I had like 4 charges on it. But I also had a hunting knife that someone gave me to take with me when I go on my long runs out in the middle of the nowhere. And so I slept with my hunting knife on my chest because I didn't know who was coming to rape me, and waited till morning and got the truck fixed back on the road. But it was a long night because the windows wouldn't close, and it was like 100 degrees in the desert, and your car gets to like 125 and there are bugs everywhere. It was nuts. But it was pretty funny. I kept a good attitude throughout the whole thing because I thought it was making for some good comedy. I put it all on my Facebook, and not my Facebook, my Instagram stories. So if you were watching my Instagram stories at Eddie Ift, you hopefully had some enjoyment at my pain. Comedy is tragedy. And, but then I got to Las Vegas, did some great shows, got to work out at CrossFit's Strip CrossFit. Did a couple workouts there. Always underestimate them. And, then did this interview that I hope you enjoy. If you enjoy the show, I've asked you a million times to go to, I just did it for another podcast. I went to iTunes, rate, reviewed, and commented, and it took me a millisecond. I went in, I gave it 5 stars, and I just said it was an amazing podcast. And, what else did I do? I gave it 5 stars. I subscribed. Subscribing helps. That gets you high in the, ratings. And will I ever listen to that podcast? Probably not. Probably never. Did I lie? It's okay. It's a white lie. It's a friend of mine, and I want him to do well. So you guys can do that if you enjoy the show. We do have some great supporters of the show. One being Myopucks, who's been with us for a long time now, and Troy Willis, who runs Myopucks and Leopard Claw, couldn't be a better friend of the show, and he always is taking care of our listeners too. Anyone that gives $5 to our Patreon, $5, that's it, $5 a week. You give $5 a week, and guess what happens? You are into the running for a Myopucks and a Leopard Claw, which is about, I think, comes in somewhere around $450 worth of shot. So, for less than like, I don't know, for $5 a month, that's like $1 an episode. You are in that running. Let me see who the winner is this week. Patreon. Who is the winner of a Myopucks, which is a electronic muscle stimulator? If you don't know what it is and you're worried that you're not going to win one, just go buy one because they're that good. They are incredible. And you use them when you get injured and you want to speed up the rehabilitation. You attach this to your muscles and it pumps the blood out and all the congestion, and it works for swelling. It's instead of icing, do this, and it's going to make you feel a lot better. And the Leopard Claw is a multi-tool device that you use to kind of scrape the fascia and get rid of any adhesions. I just used it the other day on my ankles. It's really, really kind of cool. You spray this foam on and then use it. But the winner is Jason Kirkham. Jason Kirkham congratulations, Jason. You just got yourself a Myopucks and a Leopard Claw. Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting the show. And look for that. Send us an email just so we can make sure you get it. And if anybody has not received theirs, pretty sure everyone's has gone out, but if you have not received it, send us a message at wadcastpodcast@yahoo.com, and we will make sure you get that. I want to thank our sponsor who got me through a week of Las Vegas. It's tough to eat healthy in Las Vegas. I did eat at Protein Source, which is the best restaurant in the world out there. So good. The food is so good. And it's the healthiest restaurant. I hope they franchise this all over the world. The the people that own it were coming out to my shows, and I was like begging them, please open in Southern California, please. If you ever get the chance to go to Las Vegas, go to Protein Source. Being a CrossFitter, you'll look at the menu and be like, they made this for me. Well, I couldn't eat there every single meal. So what I do when I can't get enough protein from meat, I head to whey protein, and I like to, my favorite choice is Xology. Xology. Everybody's out there looking for a good protein. I can tell you why this is best for a number of reasons, for a whole bunch of reasons. One is they use all the best stuff. Okay. It's all grass fed. It's keto. It's paleo friendly. They're only using the finest ingredients. Number two, it's made by CrossFitters. All right. So these guys know what they're doing. They're all about excellence, eliteness. You know, CrossFitters, we want the best of everything. Well, that's what these guys are. Number three, tastes delicious. Probably the best tasting protein powder out there. If you ask me, they use monk fruit for the sweetener. It's not going to spike your insulin. You know, it's all natural. And here's the best. They come in these little pods. I was able to take 7 of them with me so I could have one every day. Just threw it in my bag. Boom. Just put them in the shaker. They give you a shaker and you pour the water in, put the top on, boom, shake it up, and you got it ready to go. If you don't understand, it's like a Keurig cup, but it's almost the same thing. But what's better, why these are better than Keurig cups, they're compostable. Compostable. I think it's because it's compost. Basically, they're good for the environment. They're not bad for the environment. And they got all kinds of products. They got branch chain amino acid products, which is their big seller. They've got they've got vegan proteins. They've got grass-fed WPIs. They've got a full range. So check it out. Go to xology.co. That's xology.co. 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 And you're going to get 15% off if you use the promo code. That was hard to say. Promo code's WODcast. 15% off. Check out the videos. Check out everything about it. Great company. Great protein. Enjoy. And before I finish, just want to mention where I am this week. I'm in Atlanta. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I am in Atlanta at, where am I? It's called The Punchline. It's in Buckhead. It's a lot of fun. I'll be working out. I forget what gym I go to. Maybe Peachtree, CrossFit Peachtree. I forget where I go, but they're really nice there. And I'll be working out there. While I'm there, doing some interviews. I'm trying to get a whole bunch of interviews while I'm there because there's a lot of big-time CrossFitters like Travis Meyer and people down there, some great coaches. So I will be doing those interviews. Come check out my shows. That is The Punchline, Buckhead, and that's 13, 14, 15, 16. Then I head off I'm in New York. I'm at Skankfest. It's a comedy festival right outside of New York City. I think it's called Long Island City. It's right, I think it's Queens or Brooklyn. They call it Long Island City, but it's right over the river. And it's this big comedy festival that Big Jay Okerson puts on. And it's really fun. And I'm just doing a couple shows on that on Friday night, the 21st. 22nd, I head down to New Jersey to do a show in Mount Holly, New Jersey. And then the 23rd, I'm in Stone Harbor, New Jersey. It's my old stomping grounds where I used to be a lifeguard. Going to be a really fun show at the Harbor Square Theater. And then I head to the Empire Casino in Yonkers on the 26th. That's New York, the Yonkers, New York on the 26th. 27th, I will be at the Comedy Cellar in New York City. Tickets are not available yet. I've had people ask me for this. They're available that week. 28th, I'll be at Valley Forge Casino in Philadelphia. So come out and see me, Valley Forge, the 28th. And then I'm taking a few weeks off because, I don't know, my wife's like giving birth or something. I forget why I'm taking a couple weeks off. But after that, I head out the 18th, 19th, 20th, 21. I'll be in Hyenas Comedy Club in Dallas, Texas, 25th through 28th of July, I will be, before that, big show, the 21st of July, I will be at the Comedy Store in the main room, Sunset Boulevard, Hollywood. Tickets are going on sale this week. Get your tickets. This sells out, and it's the best show ever. I put all my good friends on it, some big celebrities, and the Comedy Store is the best show in LA, and best club in LA, and it's hard to get tickets. It sells out. It's the main room. It's a lot of fun. So let me know. I'll try to get you hooked up and in the show if you're a CrossFitter from LA, because I know you got to get to bed early. The show's going to start at 8, so it'll be over at 9:30. So I think it's time you can get your sleep. Wear your Whoop. It'll tell you when to get to sleep. But the 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, Zanies in Chicago. It's my first time there. So if you're Chicago people, please come out, because I need all the support, because I'm opening up that market right now. When you open a market, it's really tough, because you gotta do well your first time in, or they don't want you back. And then I go to maybe the CrossFit Games to hang out with Hunter and just hold his hand for a little bit and make sure he doesn't cry. And then I'll be in Omaha at the Funny Bone. Omaha, that's beginning of August. And then Dead Crow in Wilmington, North Carolina. That's in August. And then also Liquid's Comedy Club in Boise, Idaho. That's in August. And then Hyenas in Fort Worth. That's in August. So a lot of August, a lot of stuff. Check out eddief.com for all the dates. And enjoy this episode. I had a really good time talking to them. I hope you enjoy it. Is there anything I'm forgetting? Nope. Looks like that's it. All right. So enjoy the new music. I got an email from the I guess he would be the artist who performed it. And he said that I pronounced his name right, but I said his name 2 different ways, so I don't know. But Joe Pengallo, thank you for the music. Hope you guys like the new music. No comments yet. I'm sensing that's a good thing, because usually when you don't like shit, you tell me right away. So enjoy the music, enjoy the show, and that's that. Welcome to the Wadcast Podcast, everyone. I am your host, Eddie Ift, and we have, like I always say, a very special episode, but this one is starting off better than ever. Our guests today, 2 guests. We have Margaux Alvarez, who you know from CrossFit Games. She just qualified for the CrossFit Games this year as part of Team Invictus, and her husband, Alex Cardenas, the
alcoholic.
He gave me 2. He gave me 2 different ways to pronounce his name, and he showed up with a tall boy. Let me guess. Is that a vodka and vodka and vodka?
Yeah, vodka. Was it Tito's?
Yeah, Tito's.
Yeah, Tito's. That's
double vodka, no soda. With ice.
That's the Bert Kreischer drink. My buddy Bert Kreischer. I think he's a very successful stand-up comedian, and I think he's responsible for making Tito's successful.
Really?
Because he's just got an alcoholic fan base, and all he does is drink Tito's.
I want to be friends with him.
Yeah, it's all he does is drink Tito's, and Tito's has to stock the comedy club with Tito's when he comes to town.
Really?
Because the whole fan base drinks it.
That's amazing. I wish that was a problem.
I tried to do the same with what was the tequila that I love? I
was like Dos Equis, but that's a beer.
No, what's the George Clooney one?
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name right now.
This is how much I've quit drinking.
That's awesome.
What is it? I can't remember. I remember hearing about him, George Clooney. It's his liquor, his brand, but it's huge though.
Yeah, he turned it into $1 billion.
That's crazy. That's hard.
Yeah,
that's really hard. I mean, props to him.
Not if you're George Clooney.
Well, maybe not.
George Clooney could have turned a Rubik's Cube company.
That's true.
Like, I got the Rubik's Cube knockoff, and they'd be like, "All right, I'm going to buy it."
But that's the thing now. A lot of actors and influencers are trying that whole. I'm gonna either get a wine like we did, or we're gonna do vodka or scotch
whiskey, Hennessy or something like
proper
that.
12.
The
proper 12.
Yeah,
you said it right before I did. You were going into it, and I'm like, "What are you guys doing?" Margaux and Alex have a wine company. They were very nice to bring me the goat, greatest of all time.
Yes, greatest of all time.
I should be the twote or the twat.
The twat.
the worst of all time.
Worst of all time. But in turn, it'd be the best of all time.
So, what is this wine? What is it? Is it a blend?
Yes, so it's a blend. It's a Petit Syrah blend, mainly Petit Syrah. Has some Tannat, Syrah, and Garnacha in it. We source all the grapes and wine from Paso Robles, and we do all of our winemaking there. So, when we were trying to create something unique and different, we looked at the packaging. So, we did the label with a goat actually sticking his tongue out, licking its lips. And I didn't think it was going to be really popular at first. I thought Alex was like, "Oh, we should do a label with a picture of a goat." I was like, "No one's going to buy a bottle of wine with a picture of a goat." I was wrong, obviously. But then we ended up doing a Hawk bottle and like wax on the cap on the top instead of a capsule, and it's been popular. And I think a lot of people like the catchy name goat. Like it's a younger like millennial term. A lot of people know it. They hear it. I mean, even it's funny. I stopped by a friend's work, and she was a school teacher for I think it was like 11th graders, not 11th grade, like 7th, 8th grade. They were 11, and they were talking about greatest of all time. I'm like, I don't know if you guys should be talking about wine, but they know the term, and so I think it's really catchy for a lot of the younger generation.
That's the nickname of Kelly Slater. They call him the GOAT.
The GOAT, yeah.
He's won 11 World Tour championships and hopefully a 12th this year. But
that's amazing.
Yeah, he is the GOAT, and the youngest winner ever and the oldest winner ever in surfing history.
That's awesome.
He's 47 years old.
Oh, so yeah, I thought he was in his mid-40s. Yeah,
47.
It's crazy.
He's surfing against. He's 9th in the world right now, moving up, and he's surfing against 20-year-olds.
That's incredible. I remember hearing about him in high school.
Sometimes he'll go up against an 18-year-old.
Yeah,
and he's 47. He's doing these like layback hacks and
crushing it,
reverse 360s, and you're like, I have trouble getting out of bed in the morning. I got to do downward dog as soon as I get up. How do you do that? But thank you for the wine. And how did this happen? How did you guys get into wine?
So we actually started doing home production wine. We've done that for the past like 5, 6, almost 7 years now. And we thought, this wine's good. We love the process of it. We love working hard towards something, a specific goal. And we thought, we should be able to share this with people. It shouldn't be that hard. And again, we were wrong. Again, it was really hard.
Imagine it's
so many like rules and regulations and laws that we didn't come across. The first couple of years, we would harvest the grapes, put them in a trailer, drive them down to Paso Robles, do all the winemaking there, and we launched in 2017. We were able to sell it.
When you say do the winemaking there, I picture Alex in a bikini,
exactly,
walking around, just stomping on grapes,
hungover.
Yeah, hungover. Yeah, with a drink in his hand. That's pretty spot on.
So, how many bottles will you guys make?
So, our first production, we did 300 bottles. This next production, we did 600. So we doubled that in just 4 months. The end of the year, we're looking for 1,200, hopefully even 2,000 bottles.
So, it's still a hobby, or is it a business?
No, full-on business, yeah. So, we sold our soul to the devil to do this, and we are still pledging along, which is good. It's a slow process, but it's been fun. It's been a lot of work, though, more than we anticipated.
And where do you sell?
So, we sell mainly direct to consumer online on our websites. We also are in the distribution here in Las Vegas, so Total Wine, Searsucker Restaurants, which we just got into San Diego as well, and then Corey's Fine Wine in Henderson, and we're actually and Total Wine in Las Vegas restaurants or Las Vegas locations. We want to be able to get into more distribution, and we're working that. It's super hard. They're like the gatekeepers of heaven, I guess you could think about it.
Yeah, so I'm from Mexico. I was born in Mexico, and it just reminds me of being in Mexico. This whole alcohol business is so who you know, what you know. It's kind of it's brutal. It's a brutal business, but it's fun.
Good connections.
You get to drink your product every day.
No one gets their head cut off.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's that.
That's a positive.
That's that. Yeah, I'm from Juarez, the championship capital of murder. So yeah.
Oh, you are from Juarez.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was right on the other side. El Paso's on the other side of that.
You're from Tijuana.
Yeah, and I was driving along. There's we need a wall. I'm like, what is this? This is a wall. There's a wall right here. What are they talking about? And I said to the comedy club owner, I said, hey, can I go over to Juarez? And he goes, if you want to die. I go, I can't just walk over, because I've walked over I forget, somewhere else in Texas. I just walked over for the day and back.
On the bridge, or like just walked across the road?
I went over some bridge, and I just went through like customs.
Okay, yeah.
I just went over and came back, and I was like, that was cool. And he's like, don't do that in Juarez.
Yeah, it changed. It changed. Like in 2005, it got really bad. Before, when we were in high school, we used to party. We'd go over, we'd drive over.
Is that where the margarita was invented?
Yeah, I don't know. Was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe.
There's some place called Cadillacs or something, or
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they told me, they're like, go over, you'll have the best margarita of your life. It's where it was invented.
Cadillacs was like a GI spot. Like a bunch of the Army guys would go over there.
Yeah.
And in high school, we were 15 or 16. We would drive over there and party, man. We were like drinking drown nights at Copacabana. So, anyways, that's how it all started. The liver failure.
That's how the drug cartel started. like the drug wars started. We were there. We were drinking. One guy punched another guy. The next thing you know, there were just murdered people all over. There were bodies everywhere across the ground, and we were like, we didn't mean to start this.
That was the beginning.
Yeah. So they told me, they're like, you will die, and I'm like, come on. They're like, you might be okay during the daytime. Do not go there at nighttime. I was like, oh, come on. And
what year was it? Sorry.
This was like last year.
Oh, yeah, no.
Don't go.
No,
don't ever go.
Yeah, because, I mean, you're going over there and you have Texas license plates, or you're just, the way we dress is, you know, it's like, different. Okay, it's a CrossFitter right there.
They'll kill you for that right there.
Oh.
That's hilarious.
That's funny.
So, well, this is amazing that you're doing this with the wine. And I've always thought, like, so the goat is a very... people look at it and go, "Oh yeah, that's cool." Because when you buy wine, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know shit.
Yeah.
And I call my sister. I call sometimes, who knows a lot about wine, and I'll say, "What should I get?" And she'll be like, "Well, what are you eating?
Yeah.
And who's coming? And what do they like?" And I'm like, "I didn't know there was that much into it. I should have just grabbed a bottle." So when you grab a bottle, you look at something that looks cool.
Totally.
You're like, "Oh, that
100%.
looks fun. There's a bicycle on that. I'm gonna get that one. I like bicycles." So I don't know why you just don't put like a naked woman on it or something like.
Oren Swift did that.
It's funny. I was actually going to say Oren Swift did one of his wine. It was Machete, right? Machete was one of his wines, and it actually has. She's not fully naked, but she has like some shorts or underwear on. But she's topless.
Hot.
That'll work.
She is hot. She has I think it's like an old Cadillac. Is it old Cadillac in the desert? Literally filmed. They did it here in Vegas, and I think he had 12 different machetes he's collected over the years. And so they took her out. They said, like, "Hey, we'll pay you." I think she actually was in LA, but like, we're going to go to Vegas. We'll
Caribbean.
pay you.
She's from the Caribbean.
Or Caribbean. So they'll pay you for like the day for a shoot, whatever. They end up getting
by the way,
shoots.
we're promoting a different brand right now.
Yeah, I know. Anyways, I'm talking about labels. But anyway, so they get all these photos and great label, great wine. But in Utah, because of the label has like a half naked woman, they won't actually bring the wine in because of that. Ooh. So I mean, if you look at the beginning, if you look at what Oren Swift did, we're kind of not mimicking or copying that, but following the lead where we want something unique and different. Like, people look at a wine that doesn't know anything about wine. They're like, oh, a picture of a goat. I like goat yoga. I'm going to buy the goat because I like goats or whatever. And so that's something we wanted to create and like have it stand out versus like a traditional label. And nothing's wrong with it, but we want something different.
But coming from your backgrounds, didn't you consider for like a second, weren't you like, functional fitness wine?
Yeah. We thought about it for a second. We actually thought about like Mary or Fran, like all those workouts names, because they're not trademarked at all.
Are you sure? Because CrossFit trademarks everything.
Yeah. There are a good number of trademarks, but from
321 Go's trademarked, right?
321 Go's trademarked, but GAUX is a little different. So I think I came up on the discussion board talking from a friend of mine that did an internship there. He said my name had come up in terms of Instagram because it's like close to the 321 Go, but because it's spelled differently, and my intention was not to take that from CrossFit, obviously. But yeah, so like we thought about doing like the CrossFit names in terms of like Fran or Helen or Nancy, just because it relates to people.
Sure.
But anyone else outside that niche market would look and be like, oh, who's Helen, Franz, or like Nancy? Like, oh, that's cool. Like maybe I'll get that for my wife. Her name's Nancy or whatever. But I think it would have possibly, again, like could have been some question like, oh, like, you're suggesting towards that. So we decided not to do anything.
And that's the game, though. If you walk down the shelf, you see hundreds of bottles, and how do you stand out? You know, it's a crowded market, saturated for sure. So you want to like look, bring something different. That's why the bottle's different.
Yeah, it is a cool looking bottle.
And then when you
looks like something a pirate would drink.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we get that a lot. What is that?
Is that you?
Me?
That's sorry. Okay. It's okay. We're very low maintenance here.
Sorry about that.
That's funny. You're getting a FaceTime message. I get FaceTime messages from my daughter while I'm on stage. I'll say to her, I'll be like hanging up. I'm like, I'm going on stage right now. I love you. Good night.
Sweet dreams.
And then 15 minutes later, Dad, Dad, what are you doing? I told you I'm working.
Oh my
and there's an audience in front of me. And then one night she farted just in the face. She's 4. She was 3 at the time. She farted and she goes, Dad, I farted. And then she goes, I was like, yeah, I know. And the audience is laughing and she hears them laugh. She goes, let me see the audience.
No way.
Yeah.
The day that you left here, you had a comedy show, then you said you had to drive the whole night, and then he forgot he had a rental car. I was looking at the stories, it was funny. And then you drove home, so you probably didn't get any sleep. Mm-hmm. The next morning you were like, I think your daughter had you dressed up. It was hilarious because I knew the whole story. Like, you didn't have any sleep and you were probably all fucking pissed.
Yeah, I get home, like, literally, I come home for her. Like, I'm I'm going to leave after my show, or I'll get on the earliest flight in the morning. If I'm East Coast, I can be home by, like, 9 in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But you get no sleep.
No sleep.
No.
And then she's like, and so I'll just, like, lie in bed, and she'll be like, Dad! I'll be like, why don't you just lie beside Dad?
Just hang out.
And she's like, no, Dad, build me an obstacle course.
You're a trooper, man. That was awesome. You were just, like, doing whatever she said. That was cool.
That's amazing.
I'm a good dad, but I'm gonna become a bad one soon because she's starting to wear on me.
Oh.
She's 4 now.
She's beating the shit out of me. She did a flying jump kick, like
on you.
Yeah, I'm just like in bed, and she's like, "Dad, karate," and I'm like, "Okay." She doesn't know karate, and then all of a sudden, she like jumps in the air and just kicks out both legs, like right in my face, and I'm like, she knows something. I don't know if this is karate, but I was like, stop. No more.
Taking hard force against you.
You're not allowed to beat up your dad. And I got a boy on the way, which is scaring me even more. I'm like, if he's like any more aggressive or violent than this thing, I'm dead.
Yeah. It might balance her out though, like give her kind of like a friend to play with. So instead of bothering you, I mean, not that she's going to jump kick her little brother, but you know,
she
probably will.
She might. We watch her with the dog sometimes on the Nest cam, and I'm like, all right, it's getting violent.
All right, time to separate you guys.
Yeah. She'll be like, I love you so much, and she's got him in a chokehold. I'm like, she's not breathing. No. Stop.
He's not going to last any longer.
We're not the best at parenting because we don't have any kids.
We don't have it. Our wine is our baby.
Yeah, well, yeah, it looks like you're doing well, and I have a feeling this will sell really well because of the name. I wanted to start a beer and just call it like this will kick your fucking ass beer. And just have like some horrible name like that on the
But if you had that as a name, people would actually buy it because of How I Went Broke
beer.
Is there a name like that?
No, but I mean, if you started getting into the beer business, that's probably how you'll go broke.
I think it's catchy. It grabs people's attention. If you have a cool, unique label, people are like, oh, what's that? I want that.
Like if you just called it Wino Wine.
Yeah.
I know there are dirtbags that'd be like, there it is.
There it is.
That's mine.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard breaking through. Like, I mean, even with beers, there's so many fucking beers and so many good beers. So it's like it's always like, how do you get people to drink your product? And once they do, they like it, and then that's when it gets fun. But it's fucking hard. For sure.
That's what happened to me. I drank Casamigos. That's the
okay. That's what it was. Yeah,
a tequila as a joke. I was like, oh, what's this Clooney stuff? And I was like, oh my god,
it's actually really good.
This is the most delicious tequila I've ever had. I heard they put.
Was that the first drink in or like the fifth one?
It was the first.
Okay,
I right away knew, and it was. Somebody said they used vanilla to like cut it in, and it makes it it goes down like water. I had to stop drinking it. I was drinking so much of it.
Vanilla sounds good.
People be like, how many drinks did you have last night? I'm like, just 2. And they're like, half the bottle's gone. And I was filling up like a glass like that.
That's 1 glass plus 2 glasses.
Yeah,
so 2 glasses.
I'm like, that's one, that's 1 pour.
1 pour equals 1 drink.
And I could put down a half a bottle. So I just totally stopped because the good thing was I wasn't getting hangovers from it. That's why I like tequila. But the bad thing was it would just it can't be good for you.
Yeah, half a bottle a night.
No, so I'm like 1 drink a night now. It's no fun. Life sucks without alcohol.
I'm 1 drink a night as well.
Like the size of that one. I love how you guys came in. We're at the casino right now. I'm upstairs in the hotel. You guys just come in to find me, and you found a bar on the way.
Where they all are.
Just magically appeared right in front of us.
What's harder, winemaking or CrossFit games competing?
Oh, man. I would have to say winemaking for sure. Just because it's like...
is it winemaking or wine selling?
Actually, correction. Yes, wine selling. So winemaking is not necessarily the hard part. Like not everyone, but you can make good wine. You can get get the wine out there. You can bottle it, package it, label it, all that, get your license. But selling it's fucking hard, man.
And I assume it's a bit probably like social media, where like I hate doing social media, but there are people you can hire, but some of them suck and they say they're good.
Yeah.
And if you want the people that are really good, they're super expensive.
Yeah,
so
totally.
you can get a distributor who's probably super expensive, right?
Yeah, so we've been working with Vince Savage since almost a year now.
Year in Vegas.
Yeah, a year in Vegas. And they're a smaller distributor compared to Southern or any of those bigger distributors out there. But because it's us, we're the sales team, we're everything from A to Z, it is actually better for us to work with a smaller distributor within Vegas. Like, to go anywhere else, we still need to work with another distributor like Texas or Florida, Ohio. California's the only state we don't necessarily need one because we're licensed there. We could be our own distributors. But like you said, like, either it's us going and selling, or we hire a sales team or someone to go and sell the wine like a broker.
Are you like, of all the CrossFit men, and like I've never known any CrossFitters to party at all. Like, they're just like the worst. As a stand-up comedian, I always thought, I think it was Rogan who told me one time, he was like, you know, because he's in the MMA world.
Yeah.
He goes, why don't you just get, he was like, you're doing this podcast about CrossFit. Why don't you get your CrossFitters to come out and see your comedy shows? And I was like, he's like, that's what he goes, I do my shows and all the MMA people come
Yeah.
in. And I was like, that's a great idea. And then I found out the CrossFitters go to bed at like 7 p.m. And the only way I could get them out is if I did a show at like between 1 and 3 p.m. in the afternoon when they're taking their siesta or whatever it is. So like, I've met a few. They're not very good that like to party.
Yeah.
For the most part. You know.
I would say there are some good ones out there. Like, we did a Wild in the Waves cruise this past January, and I think a good handful of us that were on that boat, we like to party. Like, I like to party. I used to party not super hard, but I'd say pretty hard from time to time.
Yeah.
When I found CrossFit, I was like, I'm going to go to the game, so I cut back my partying.
Yeah.
Like, to maybe every little bit once in a while. But there's a good handful on there. I think it depends too on where you're at, maybe with your CrossFit career, what you want to do. Like Pat Vellner, he's super cool. He loves to party. Him and his wife, girlfriend, fiance, I can't remember if they're engaged or not, but they love to party. They're awesome. There's a good handful of athletes that have maybe qualified in the past for the games that still like to drink or go partying. And I think, again, it's not like we're getting smashed and like staying out to like 5 or 6 in the morning. There have been instances happening, but I think it's, again, like that culture is that everyone wants to like focus on good, healthy eating and like lifestyle, and that's great. But again, I think if you go to that higher and higher percentage of like the people that are competing at the games, there's less and less of that versus people that go to the gym for like an hour a day, like, let's wait on the weekend.
Yeah.
Because I used to be that whenever I started.
Back in the day. This is my 13th year with CrossFit, or doing it,
Wow.
or not doing it, or pretending I'm doing it. But yeah, I used to go to CrossFit One World with Freddie Camacho and China Cho. And that community was really cool because we would work out really hard, and then Freddie would always have a beer fridge. So that's where I started getting into IPAs, and it was really fun. So for me, it's always been part of the community, not so much to get drunk, but just to have fun afterwards.
Sure.
Yeah.
I always felt like that, and I think I should do that. I go to a town, I'll work out there for like 4 or 5 days, and then I leave because I do my shows. And I've always said, I should, bring a case of beer, a couple cases of beer, my like last day at the gym, and bring it in and be like, hey, thanks for having me. Let's have some beers, and that'll be my send off. But I did it once, and nobody drank them, and I was like,
bummer.
I was like, I'll just be here alone.
Drinking my beer by myself.
Sitting here on the sled, like, hey, it was nice meeting you all. And,
no one hangs around.
It also depends on the community, right? Because Diablo, where you started, was really kind of like...
where was that?
I was in Pleasant Hill, California.
Okay. They were kind of like all competition, whereas where I was at One World, we were like, all right, cool, let's hang out, let's party, let's go out afterwards and get some dinner.
I think it's a community that you go to in the gyms. Sure. I think and especially now versus like where it was like back in like 2009, 10, 11, maybe even 12 before it started to get really big compared to now, where it's like the culture in the community has changed.
Sure.
Obviously, I've been to gyms that they really instill like community based, and people like to hang out on Friday nights. Like they'll do like a workout, and then they'll hang out and have drinks afterwards or beer or whatever. And then there's some gyms where it's like, depending on where it's at, like people come in from work or they leave after work and they're like, peace, I'm done. Yeah. For the weekend.
The gym I came up through Paradiso CrossFit.
Okay.
In Venice, and they were a big community. They were a big like let's party. Like they would do Like I was like, hey, let's do the beer mile, and they're like, fuck it, let's do beer Murph. They did beer Murph. I'm doing Murph one time. I look beside me, and these guys are drinking beers, and they're like,
awesome.
And
That's
I'm like,
amazing.
when do you drink? And they're like, after every round of Cindy, and I'm like,
Oh my God, that's
like,
20
like,
shots or 20 drinks.
You're gonna die, and they're like, yeah. probably. But I kind of like that, and that's what I thought was good about it, because that was not taking it so seriously. I understand if you're a games level athlete like you can't do that shit. But look, I see that people have moved away from that and gotten healthier. But why not have a little bit of fucking fun?
Yeah, I think it's. I've been doing this now for almost over 8 years now, almost 8.5, and it's like I've done the competition and I've enjoyed it, and I'm in a pivot point where it's like I'm done competing individually. Might do team for a little bit, but I think it's like you got to have balance in life. You got to enjoy yourself, because I think in the beginning I was so gung-ho for my goal, and that was great, but looking back it's like there was a time and purpose, and that served a purpose. But now I'm like, I want to go have fun with friends, I want to go visit, I want to go travel, I want to go out, I want to not look back in like another 5 or 10 years and like, man, I didn't do this and this because of whatever. Not to say that people that are focusing on one goal, whether it be fitness or anything else, nothing's wrong with that, but I think I've already been through that. I've done this for 8 years. I'm like, there's a kind of a transition or a time change for me at least.
And everybody has their different path.
For sure.
It's
100%.
There's been famous athletes who like to party a lot, and there's famous athletes that don't. So I don't think it matters. It's whatever floats your boat and makes you happy and gets you through life. So, look, could it impair, especially in something like CrossFit, could it impair your success? Probably.
Yeah,
but,
totally.
But, I mean,
like staying up to 5 in the morning and trying to go out, work out the next day? Probably not.
Something we're careful when repairing the glycogen in the liver. You don't want to mess the liver up too much, especially with CrossFit with the high intensity. So
yeah.
But she drinks 1 glass, and that's kind of like mellows her out in the night.
I think that allows me to kind of just unwind and relax in the day.
Does that make you okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
You're taking away from my glass.
I feel the same way with my wife, and it sucks because she's pregnant now that I can't give her wine. But every time I feel it, I'm like, do you need a glass of wine? Do we need to? Is it calm Lauren downtime? And wine's like the great equalizer for that. Yeah. But
totally.
There's so many things I want to tell you. You were talking about like your gyms were different. I was on a beach patrol in college, like during the summers, and it was all like everyone was like a college level athlete, either in rowing, swimming, running, because we would compete all summer. And they hired guys as competitors. Okay. And because they have these lifeguard races, if you've ever seen them on ESPN or whatever.
Yeah, those are cool.
So they want you to do this shit. So my best friend joins the patrol that is like the most badass, like not fuck around. They all would shave their legs. They were like, and I'm like, this is summer. It's college. And these guys are on the stand shaving their legs, getting ready for the swim. And I was on the patrol that was just raging alcoholics with STDs. We had like an on-call doctor.
Wow.
Like, you'd walk in, you'd be like to your lieutenant, you'd be like, I got an itch. And he'd be like, go see the doc.
Oh my God.
Green drip.
Yeah, the green drip. Blah, blah, blah. And so these guys were crazy. And I was pretty serious about my running at the time. I ran track, and I was like, wow, I didn't know I was going to party this hard. I thought
That's
I was going
awesome.
That was kind of my way of getting out of partying all summer. I was like, I'm not going to hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
I'm going to go have to train. And the first
Get in the gym.
First day, this guy's got like a bottle of whiskey in his bag. So cool. And he's like, you want a shot? And I'm like, we're supposed to be saving lives.
Oh my gosh,
like,
that's crazy.
One shot won't hurt. And
You'll be fine.
There was, but we were crazy. And we went to the first, and I was a competitor. They said, oh, you're going to run the surf dash, blah, blah, blah. And I took it all seriously. Oh, there's a lot of pressure. And I get there, and all the other teams, like this is New Jersey, every Margate and Ventnor and Ocean City and every township, their teams are stretching and they're blah, blah, blah. My team's doing donuts in the Jeeps on the beach, and they've got like a keg in the back.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, are we going to compete today? And they're like, if we have to.
That's so cool.
Oh my gosh.
So I was on that. I was on like the Bad News Bears, and we would lose all the time, and we'd be like, our boat we a lot of rowing. Our boat would be like way out in the ocean. You'd see all the other boats coming in. You're like, did he stop to take a piss?
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
It was a lot of fun, but we were terrible.
But it's some probably really good memories from that.
Yeah, I went back last summer, and we did we have a reunion.
Yeah.
And it's like 20 years later, and I'm just like, I'm in better shape than all these fucking guys. I do CrossFit, so I'm like, I was never a good rower. I was a good sprinter, but not a good runner, and I was a decent swimmer. I'm like, I'm doing everything. I'm doing everything in the competition. I'm going up against everybody. So my buddy and I get in the doubles row, and I go like this. You go out to flags and back in these Van boats. They're really hard to row, and it's not like a crew boat. It's
just
like,
for two people?
It's like a big rowboat, like fiberglass rowboat. It's heavy as shit, and it can flip on you in the waves. It's really, really, really...
Like our paddling boat?
No, it's more like...
It's kind of like Bud's kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and two men, and you don't have a slide board. You can make your own slide board, but your feet are on the seat in front of you, so you're kind of like rowing, and your rowing skills from like a C2 would just go right out the fucking window, because it's all about, being...
Like tempo with the same person?
With the same person, but also just there's so much chaos with the waves. And
I bet.
So
that's nuts.
I was like, we haven't done this in 20 years. I look at my buddy who's an idiot, and I go, here's the deal. I go, and he just did the Ironman. So I'm like, he's in shape, I'm in shape. We might beat all these fat fucks who used to.
So funny.
And I go, George, I go, here's the deal. I go, if we get to the flags and we're out there first, because you go out 3/4 of a mile and then back in, so it's a mile and a half race. I go, if we get out there and we're in the lead, let's just take this thing. Let's kill.
Yeah.
But if we're behind, we're not winning, let's take them all out.
Everyone out.
So we literally made the turn like everybody was supposed to turn left at the flat. We turned right.
Oh no!
And we had messed up this point, and I think we could have done well, but we were out of the race.
Yeah.
So I just start rowing straight towards the other boats, like taking an angle. And George goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "Take them out."
No way.
We just start like hitting boats with our boat.
My gosh.
And and these guys are so serious about it. They're like, God damn it.
So pissed.
And I'm like, let's just wipe them off.
That's so funny.
And then we had the big party that night, and guys were walking around like, I would have won the rowing event if it wasn't for those idiots.
It's like, sure you would have.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome though, man.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, sorry to interrupt. Last time we came to the comedy club, dude, you're funny, man.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
No, seriously, it was like
funny.
we were in tears. So whoever's listening today, you gotta go to these shows, man. This is really fucking funny.
Yeah, that was a good show. It was a
great show,
and it's a great club here, the Comedy Cellars.
It was so awesome. That was our first time going there, and we were dying. We were down.
Yeah, and so we've been to other. What's the Brad guy?
Brad Garrett.
That was not funny. Sorry, but we did not laugh much. But
you know what? I play there too.
Oh, do you?
How funny would it be if we were like, wait a minute. That was you. I saw that. It all depends on the comedian. It all depends on sometimes it depends on the night. There are nights where it works for me, and there are nights where I'm just like, I'm terrible. I should get in another business. I mean, it's like having an off night and anything.
No, things like don't go well.
We go to a lot of comedy shows. I love comedy shows.
Yeah,
and last time we came here, I was like, wow, that was fucking funny.
It was really fun. Like the whole
it was a good
spread
night.
or whatever lineup was great. But it was like we were just dying in the back, like laughing so hard.
Did I do any CrossFit jokes for you?
No,
it's funny. The guy right before you what was his name? The glasses that you wrote down, tall, kind of bald.
Was it Leo Flowers?
Yeah, Leo. That's what it was. Yeah,
Leo Getz.
He had made a joke about like his like when you're like in your 20s, you like hit the gym, you hit this and you hit that. I was like, yeah, that's pretty funny. That's true. And you get to your 30s, you're like, oh, you're gonna go work out, and then when you get to your 40s, I'm gonna do my exercises. And we were dying
because before that he had the
Asian woman like she's like, I'm 12,000 years old.
Oh yeah, doing the
side straddle or whatever.
Whatever it was. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
There's a good show in town this week, Bumping Mics with Dave Attell and Jeff Ross is over at the Mirage, and they go up together and just roast people.
That's
hilarious.
That's
it's
awesome.
one of the funniest things in the world.
That out.
Dave Attell, in my opinion, is the best comedian alive.
Is he?
And I think if you polled the whole comedy community, 90% of them would say Dave Attell.
That's awesome.
He's that good, and he's alive. Like like see him while he's alive.
How old is he?
He quit his partying. He's in his 50s, but the thing is, like, he's a living legend.
That's awesome.
He's not like people talk about Carlin or people talk about Richard Pryor. David Tell's still alive.
Here.
Yeah.
So if you get a chance to see him live, and live is so much better than TV.
For sure.
If I came up watching him every night in the Comedy Cellar in New York, and it just, we all sit upstairs and we hang out, and then as soon as it's your spot time, the MC will come up and get you and go, hey, come on downstairs. And you're eating. We have a table for comedians only.
That's awesome.
And it's great. And we just shoot the shit about everything up there. Well, when it's your turn, they come up and kind of tap you and go, "You're on next," and you go down and you're on in a few minutes, and then you come back up when you're done and hang out with your friends. When Dave goes on, everybody goes down
to check it out,
to watch.
That's
because
rad.
It's like watching, Fraser or Froning. It's like this guy's doing things that no one else can do.
Yeah.
And it's
that top echelon.
You don't know how he's doing it or how he wrote the joke, and you're just like, wow.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised how many jokes you've heard people just say, like, in your life.
Yeah.
That, like, just reference, like, a dude in a bar, and you're like, oh, that's funny. That's a Dave Attell joke. Like, everybody steals his shit. And he's,
so
I would
cool.
never say any of this to his face because he like can't take a compliment. So, so if I see him, I'm like, "What's up, you fucking loser?"
That's awesome. We'll definitely have to check him out.
I just contacted them because I'm like, I want to go over there on Friday or Saturday when they're doing it, but
nice.
I have a 7 and a 9, so it's hard.
Yeah.
But that's what sucks about Vegas. Like in New York, we run around, we see each other.
Yeah.
LA kind of sucks because we get to drive, but here it's
like
it's tough
everything's
too.
Everything's
It's it used to be you could get around here a little easier. Now it's like
it's saturated.
So many. I felt like the summers are busier and busier here, but people say like conventions are obviously like busier times. But with all the tourists that come here, like to getting somewhere, it takes forever. Like, oh, I'm like 2 blocks north. You're like 2 blocks more north. That's like going to take like an hour.
Yeah, like an hour.
Yeah.
Where do you work out here?
So we usually work out at CrossFit Culmination. They have 2 locations. We've hopped around to different gyms.
All the gyms here are great.
Yeah, all the gyms here are amazing. Like great community.
Strip.
I know some have consolidated.
Right. I just worked out at Strip today.
Did you? Yeah. So Strip's obviously super close for a lot of people. It's really convenient. Camp Rhino or Rhino CrossFit.
Culmination,
really
great,
Combine, Modulus.
Wow. You hit up a lot of them.
We tried to hit it. Yeah, Mountain's Edge. I'm trying to go on PFC.
PFC is super cool because they have tactical shooting.
Yeah, super.
Are you
awesome.
into that shit?
I love. Well, I was in the Marines, so yeah.
So yeah, he loves. I'm getting in more into it. I really like it.
Did you do well in that competition in the shooting?
Yeah, on that one, I really like that one. I think it was like one of my top 5 finishes. Top
Did you have
finish
shooting experience?
A little bit. I've done some tactical shooting before. We actually went out with PFC with Brian and the head instructor and did some training out there. Did some workouts like running, shooting, pull-ups, and it's like, man, like trying to shoot in accuracy when you're breathing. It's fucking joke. It's so hard.
You guys were anaerobic, right? So the Olympic is aerobic, so it was different, right? So all these techniques that they use, and that's what Brian was saying, was like, you want to get a more tactical position because you're going to be anaerobic, and it's just different. It's like the fog of war.
Yeah.
And so, it was really cool watching her because
you're saying like you're in total exhaustion.
Yeah, you're just breathing fast and your heart rate's high.
So hard to aim that. How far away is the target?
It was 10 meters.
But it's like size of my
super
dick.
Small. God.
It's like a centimeter.
No, stop. It's like, it's really set up similar shooting that you'd see in like the Olympic biathlon.
Is this a G-rated show?
Yeah, you can say whatever the fuck you want. I have said some of the most horrible things.
I know, I'm like, I don't know.
I said to Stan Efferton the other day, he was talking about cranberry juice. And Stan's a really nice guy, but I don't know if he's a Christian or what he didn't curse. He's very professional.
Does he laugh?
We were talking about, he was talking about how you should drink cranberry juice, like real cranberry juice. And I go, oh, that tastes like the devil's vagina or something. Or I might have said devil's pussy. Whatever I said, I looked at him and there was this look kind of like, well, I didn't know what kind of show I was on.
He's a super nice guy.
He's super nice, That's awesome.
Funny,
we did Murph with him.
You did?
Yeah, I saw that picture. You were with Hunter, the guy Hunter.
Hunter McIntyre. Hunter did not do Murph.
Oh, he did?
He did.
He did what a sandbagger. He shows up, he throws a vest on, and does the runs, but doesn't tell anyone he's doing just the runs.
Oh, he just does the running, but not the 100.
So everybody sees this guy taking off, and they're like, chase him! And so
don't do that.
Like Green Berets there, and Navy SEALs, and all these guys chasing Hunter, and I'm like, guys, he's not doing it.
He's only doing the runs.
And I'm like, slow down.
He's probably prepping for the Granada Games.
Yeah. So he was at the Granada Games as a team. But he has an amazing capacity. So like running, obviously,
it's the
that's his
thing
jam.
in the world for him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He's an idiot. He's just FaceTime me 2 minutes before.
Oh, really?
He doesn't ever call me. He FaceTimes, and one day I just went, "Why do you do this?" And he goes, "I want to see you." And I go, "I don't want to see you. I don't like. That's the thing about a phone call. You get to do shit that you wouldn't do in front of stuff. Like, I'm busy. I'm at home. I'm like changing. And Hunter's
you can do things while you're talking to
and Hunter's
him.
like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Stop looking at me."
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I never got into that. Like, I see people driving while they're FaceTime. I'm like, whoa, that's fucking weird.
I could do it with my daughter. That's about it.
Yeah,
I want to see her, but I don't want to see Hunter.
I think the only people that I really FaceTime with is my sister. I think that's about it. I don't think I'll ever FaceTime.
We should do the FaceTime sex time.
The what?
Where you have sex.
Oh my gosh.
On the phone.
So having sex while FaceTime.
Whoa, like from far away.
What? That makes no sense.
It's like masturbation.
Yeah, on the
phone.
Yeah, on the phone.
Okay,
you haven't tried. Jeez, how long have you guys been married?
Well, it's different because like I'm looking like this is the thing though. Like I'm looking at this hot body of like Athena,
stop
and then she's looking at this tubby fucking dude.
Stop! No, not true. Oh my god.
You got to remember too, women don't look at us like we look at them.
That's true. Yeah,
women, we look at them for it's all about appearance and looks, and they look at us for like money.
That is not true.
That was awesome.
Totally
Only
true.
Money.
Yeah.
Oh
I found that out. I hate when I post pictures of my wife, and my wife I believe she's beautiful, and all I get back, the response is like, "Whoa, hey, dude, you're batting out of your above your
league. Oh my
blah blah blah. Hey," and I have to post it. I have to put a disclaimer at the bottom, like, if anybody posts that my wife is way too good for me, I'm just gonna delete your comment,
delete and block,
because I have a thing called, like, I have feelings.
Yeah, I get that all the time. And like everybody's like, "Oh, your husband's a lucky dude." I'm like, "Well, she's lucky too."
Yes.
I do it when people go, "Oh, your daughter's adorable." I go, "She takes after her father."
That's awesome.
I'm so sick of them going, "She looks just like her mother."
You're like, "Thanks, bro."
Yeah. I get that constantly. So
that's awesome.
So you qualified, Granite Games. You didn't even want to, really, did you?
So my focus this year was Rogue Invitational as individuals. Like, I'll focus on that. I'll do that. And it was an amazing experience. Like, awesome. Like, it was their first year.
Let's stop for a second. Wait, wasn't there a thing about, like, you were having trouble with CrossFit? And like, you were going to quit? And
no, so I wasn't going to do the Open this year, which usually runs from end of February through March, just because I want to spend more time with the business. I was training for American Ninja Warrior, and then I wanted to do golf, like World Long Drive. So I was spending more time.
Are you required to do? We got to get into the golf thing too. But are you required to do the Open?
No, there's no requirement saying you have to do the Open. I've done it every year because I want to compete. Yeah. I want to be competitive. Was it August, September? Now they changed the rules. Where like you don't have to do the Open to qualify for the games. You can do a sanctional event. The sanctional event's like an outside vendor or company that puts on an event, and then when you win, you get that spot to the games. So I was like, all right, cool. I was like, well, I'm just going to focus on Rogue. I'm putting more eggs in other baskets right now, and so I'm not going to do the Open. And so I just put that on my platform, sharing, hey, this is why I'm not doing the Open. These are the reasons why. I'm going to focus more on the health aspect of what CrossFit Initiative has been recently, and I think that wasn't well received.
That's weird.
So I think
wasn't well received by the CrossFit Game, because there's two worlds now. We know.
Yeah.
There's the CrossFit Games and there's CrossFit. It was not well received by CrossFit Games.
I think it wasn't received by behind HQ, the community of CrossFit.
I would think that's what Health HQ is trying to promote.
So that's where you put somebody where you see somebody on the record saying something and then acting differently, because she said exactly what they were saying. When I say they, it's HQ. It's either the CEO or the owner. She said exactly the same thing that they're saying. Want to focus on health, and
I'll do that.
I don't want to do the Open because I'm going to focus on health. But here's the thing, though, like when
they took that as criticizing the Open as not healthy.
Well, yeah, because you have a thing called the Open that's about to make you $6 to $8 million, and that's what it comes down to. I always follow the money, right? So that's probably what it was.
Yeah, I just realized that myself, because then you're being critical of the Open where all the money's coming.
And by the way, I'm saying this; she didn't say this.
Right. Well, I'm saying it because I have no problem with them coming after me all the time. I could give two shits, and they did one time, and I just went, "Oh, okay. You want to make an enemy out of me? You want me bad mouthing you guys? Because I pretty good platform that I can get on with a lot of different places.
Yeah.
You know, like national TV, and I'm on the radio every day, and the different biggest radio stations and podcasts. And
Yeah.
do you want me to? Okay, because you can be a dick to me, but I can be a dick too. And I think I know your sore spot, and I can mention it every single time. So let's just be friends.
Yeah.
Right. But then that was the last time they came at me.
And that's the weird part about it, like the games and the media team and everybody's like super fucking awesome people. And it was just like this one person that the king lost his mind, and now all this shit's going on, you know. So
it is pretty crazy right now. And talking to everybody on and off air, you know, I just hear. I never want to get anyone in trouble, so I don't ask tough questions on air. Like sometimes people give me shit. They're like, "Why aren't you asking the tough questions?" And I'm like, "Because I don't want to get these guys in trouble. Like that can happen to you. I don't care if I say it, but I don't want to put you in a position where the athletes come on the show all the time, and they're very nice to come on the show, and we have great chats. And I kind of just want to get to the personality and have a fun time and shoot the shit about it. And I don't want to be all like investigative reporter, but we all know there's fucking weird shit going on. And so then off air, I talk about it, and then everybody knows I have all this knowledge because I get to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
And so then they tell me more shit, and I'm like, Jesus, I'm sitting on fucking like
a gold mine.
Yeah, of like all the what's going on, and I can't be totally honest about it because at times I can't expose people. I can't.
Yeah. You want to respect what they say.
But it's you know it's a very confusing time.
It is.
And I know a lot of people are upset, and it's, you know, I was saying this to Froning last week about we've got like this didn't exist really, you know, like 10 years ago. I mean, it's so new that everybody is holding it. You know, everybody was so mad about Hunter, and they're like, it's so sacred to them. But they have to remember, it was an imaginary sport that was created that didn't exist 10 years ago.
Yeah, 15 years ago.
You're holding this so sacred that if this guy pulls the linchpin out of it, all of a sudden it's like, well, but it was his, and it's so complicated. And like, a lot of the anger towards Hunter, I was trying to say, is misdirected.
Right, for sure, 100%. And that's the irony. Irony is that everyone's upset at Hunter, which, you know, whatever. But he's the guy that's in charge is calling CrossFit Games athletes clowns, and he's calling this guy a clown too because he's like, well, my clowns can beat your clown. Yeah, that's what's going on.
That's
it's
crazy.
Fucking crazy, and everybody's pissed off at Hunter. I'm like, dude, direct that fucking shit to the king. The king's lost his mind, man.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to talk to him. Armin just got to interview him, and I would love to sit down with him, and I think we could have an awesome conversation. Awesome, because I don't.
You could do it on FaceTime.
Well, I don't hold back.
Just kidding.
I met him the night of the fires. In Los Angeles.
Okay.
And like my neighborhood was about to catch on fire. So I went down, Mike Anderson called me. He's like, hey, Glassman's doing this speech at Pepperdine. Come down and talk.
Yeah.
Or come down and watch him, and I'll introduce you, and you guys can podcast. And I was like, great. So I went down, and Mike's good friends with him. And I watched his speech, and it was all on CrossFit Health. And I didn't see that I was going to get the opportunity to talk to him because he had just so many people around him. But I also had to jet out of there because I had to make sure my family didn't go up in flames.
Yeah.
But so I didn't get to talk to him at all. But I was like, I would love to sit down with this guy and really, really, like, you know, shoot the shit and find out what's going on. Just, you know, see how open he'd be about it, because it's very conflicting and confounded. And I've got opinions, I've got theories, and sometimes I feel like I should hold back on them because I probably know shit I shouldn't know. And so if I do, I'm exposing people. So,
well, I mean, if it's just information that you know, you don't know saying where you got it from, but it's accumulation of information.
Yeah, but I also know how wrong people can be because
true.
I just heard a podcast. A guy did a podcast about my old podcast, Talking Shit. We had this popular podcast, Jim Jeffries and I, and we ended the show, and Jim and I had a falling out. And one of the guys who was a regular guest on the show did a podcast about the podcast, telling like what happened.
Really?
And I listened to it, and I was like
the whole everything that fell out, like how you just fell out.
And I was like, he's like 75% wrong on everything he's talking about. So I feel like we're probably all 75% wrong.
It could be
on what's going on.
Yeah.
We don't really know.
I think about that a lot because, like, I try not to get upset because maybe the guy or the CEO or however the structure is now knows what they're doing, and they're going to lead the horse the right way, right? But it's just crazy because we live in a time where we need media. Like, media is king right now. Content is king. And if you're trying to fight an initiative of health, like, you would think, okay, well, I'm going to keep my media team because they're fucking badass, and we're going to put tons of content out to help fight that battle.
Someone from my point of view, I actually am happy about it because people are coming to me now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because they need exposure. They're like, hey, I got contacted by Froning, not me contacting Froning. It was, they reached out to me because there's no more in-house media taking care of them.
Exactly.
Nope.
But sometimes that's not the best thing in the world because then they control the narrative.
Yeah.
And you can't be honest. And
right.
You can't, like, I know that there's a bunch of guys trying to put together a functional fitness union type thing, and I think it's the greatest thing in the world.
IFF.
Yeah, I think it's the greatest thing.
I3FF.
Yeah, hold on one second.
That's not mine.
No, that's mine.
But yeah, I think, like, there is a vacuum that formed, which is kind of cool because, like, you got the Armins, you got anybody that, you know, right now, and I told a bunch of people this, like, if you do a TMZ model where, like, you're talking real, like, shit that's going on, like, all these rumors that are going on, they have to have some substance behind them, and if people start talking about that, those channels are going to explode, you know?
Yes and no, because when they were controlling the narrative, they did not like us doing this podcast in the beginning. And they did not want us having access. Armin got kicked out of the game.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was 2012.
And it was, that's
that.
like Stalinistic. Like, you can't be critical of the.
Yeah.
And I never liked that. I was like, hey, let us expose your flaws so that you can fix them.
Yeah.
You know, you should take your criticism, a certain amount. And
like corrective criticism to be able to evolve forward.
Yeah, and there was this, no, you're not going to, we're going to control. And that's what they did forever. And I feel like I'll be exposing so much if I tell. But now, I just think they basically looked at their bottom line and where they were making money and where they weren't making money, and they were like, we can outsource all this media. If we stop this in-house media, it's still going to exist. The vacuum's going to get filled, but with people spending their own money. And I think what they looked at is profitability, and that was not profitable. So they're like, hey, if you guys still love this and you want to go do it and you could make it profitable, go do it, because we weren't making it profitable. So go out there, and all these guys, Tommy Marquez and Rory, and they're all spreading out and going off on their own, and they're going to do it. It's going to exist. And I think, maybe this year, that the games coverage will not be as good.
Yeah.
But in the future it will. Like, because people are going to go, hey, it didn't work this year. I can do it. Give me the contract and let me have it and let me come in and do it, and we'll take all the advertising revenue and blah, blah, blah. Because I have no affiliation with CrossFit, and this show makes money, and, it has nothing to do with them at all whatsoever. Do you
see someone like a company or some organization coming in and saying, all right, we'll take this over, we'll put the media?
That's the big rumor, is that, that the Games is going to go off on its own thing completely.
Like, it won't be the CrossFit Games, it'd be like something Games or whatever.
Like Rogue or something.
Yeah, if you look at Rogue, and the coverage that they had was phenomenal. They had CBS Sports there, and it was just phenomenal. And you have a bunch of other sports weekends or whatever that are trying, or sanctionals that are trying their best, and it's just not there. Like, I was really stoked for their event, and so I bought that streaming that Granite Games had, and I was just like, couldn't see shit because it was just going back and forth, and I was kind of frustrated. But
the best years of, I've always believed, of the coverage of the CrossFit Games were the first few years after they left the ranch.
Oh, like 2010.
And it was on the internet.
And YouTube, right? Yeah.
You knew it was even before, I think, YouTube. It's when it was on the CrossFit site.
Oh. The old site.
Yeah, and I don't think they could hold the bandwidth. I think it just got too many people. So they had to move it to something like a platform like YouTube.
Yeah.
But it was awesome. You could just go on. You knew every event, who was competing. It was so easy to find. And then after that, it just started getting more and more confusing. And are these replays? Did this go? Is this live?
Yeah.
And it was so confusing. And I felt like they got too big, that it got too confusing. And it was,
to manage
I found it difficult to watch. But it's so always evolving.
Yeah.
The biggest question I would have if anybody's going to interview him is just to ask him, okay, what happened to the $16.1 million, that investment that you got for the 50% of the company? How did you pay that off? or did you have to go to a bank to get a loan? And is the bank now calling the shots? And that's kind of like what I want to know, because after the 16.1 million from Lauren, right, Lauren?
Yeah, Lauren Jedi.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know what happened to that money. It's just like he said in the past, like it was a balloon type investment, and potentially if that's the case and they're still paying on it, maybe that's why people got fired. And if that's the case, then it's like, all right, well, this isn't a good thing. But if what you're saying is true, that, you know, they're like, all right, we can outsource this. All right, well, maybe they're right, and hopefully they're right, and this company will keep getting bigger.
Well, it's funny. I don't know the rules of like running a company and how much you have to, especially when you have affiliates, how much you have to be transparent with them. One of the, I've always joked that CrossFit's a cult and everything like that. Right way back, like 10 years ago, I was like looking into it and I'm like, what's the definition of a cult? And one of them is no financial transparency. And you know, I don't know the rules of your company and how much you have to be transparent. So how much does Greg Glassman have to tell us as just people that do CrossFit? How much does he have to tell his affiliate owners? How much does he have to tell his employees? What do they have to know? Or is he like, hey, it's my fucking company. I'm going to do what I want and you guys can shut the fuck up and you don't have to know anything. So part of me is like, hey, tell us, let us know what's happening. And part of me is like, hey, this guy's baby. He can do whatever.
Yeah, that's true too. That's fair. That's 100% fair.
And so if he wants to, put the CrossFit Games on Mars and nobody shows up because they can't get there, who knows? He might.
I think that's true. You have to look at like both sides. You have to look at both sides of the coin. Like, it is his own company, so what does he want to do with it? Whatever he fucking wants to do with it. On the other side of the coin, I remember just going through comments and people saying, well, it's all about community, then how is this being community orientated? Like, if it is about the affiliates and it is about giving back and it is about helping people grow, how does that or what have they done to help affiliates grow? Like, I know there's a big movement internationally, especially in Asia, in South America. Like, CrossFit's growing, affiliates are booming, but that's not the case in the U.S. So are they interested in focusing on the outside resources or the outside locations to have that prosper and have that grow more so than what's happening here? Because in the U.S., at least I know in Vegas, I think there was almost 50 gyms a couple of years ago, like 2012 or so.
Really?
And I think now there's about 30 or so. I mean, either gyms have consolidated or
I've seen a lot of gyms closing down.
But the other side of it too, in 2010, like if you remember 2010, like you would go into a global gym and they'd fucking look at you like you're an asshole. Right now, if you go to LVAC, you pay $35 and you have a functional fitness room.
Sure.
Well, there's a competition for these CrossFit gyms that are paying. Now you're paying $150 for the CrossFit gyms when they can pay $35-$50 for the.
When we started the show back in whatever year, a listener will know when we started. I don't know. We had this discussion many times, Armin and Kenny Kane and I. That I said, what's going to happen? There will be an evolution of this of the methodology. What's going to happen is, all of a sudden, you've got everybody out of the global gyms. They're not using Nautilus machines. They're not using free weights like they used to. There's a whole different kind of methodology to becoming fit and strong and fast and whatever it is. So Glassman revolutionized that. It was old methods, but he just combined them together and labeled it and branded it. Everybody's using it. Everybody's learning it. At a certain point, it's just like going to the gym and you're doing your 3 sets of 10. You go to a trainer for a couple months and then you're like, I got this shit. I don't need him.
Yeah. Right.
I said that's going to happen with CrossFit. Everybody's going to know how to climb a rope. Everybody's going to know how to do a butterfly pull-up. It's going to be something you learn when you're 12, and you're going to do this shit, and you're going to learn it, and you're going to know it. And so you're not going to need a coach I mean, if you're going to want to become an athlete and win the game someday, yes, you're going to need a coach, just like you need a boxing coach or track coach or whatever. But we all know how to run. Your parents taught you how to run. It just was natural. So that's what CrossFit's going to become. So what's going to happen is everybody's going to have to drop their price point to compete because the Globo gyms, as people move away from them to CrossFit, they're going to go, why don't we just put that equipment in here?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what's happening.
That's why I get emotional in this, and I usually don't try to even say shit about it.
It's the Tito's.
Definitely. 100%. Yeah, I feel it. But a bunch of my friends have like jobs. They work fucking full-time jobs to support their community. And the community is also a place for all these people to come in and do the fitness that it's like church for these people, right?
Yeah.
And we've been around the whole country and we've seen a bunch of people that work full-time jobs to fucking support the gym because it's not a successful business. Now you're having to drop that price point to $75 a person, $50. I mean, that's not fucking cool, man. And
but let's go this far. Let's not. And this is weird that I'm not blaming Glassman for one. Glassman originally set it up as I know, I never went to an L1 cert or anything like that, or listened to him talk that much, because I've always been 1 foot in, 1 foot out of everything I do, and I just can't be. I can't buy in. I'm so non-committal. I'm amazed I'm married. But I looked at CrossFit and I was like, it's great, but I'm not fucking drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be suspect of all of you people, because, and it was good. I have a healthy level of suspiciousness. So what I remember him doing was basically teaching teachers. And he would say to them, you don't need a gym. You don't need this equipment. All you need is your knowledge. And you need, a couple kettlebells in the corner and a rope, and you're going to run around the block, and you can wear Chuck Taylors, and you can do this.
Yeah.
And you are going to make better athletes than can go in those gyms where they have $1,200 treadmills and all that equipment and you don't need that. You need this. Like the first CrossFit gym I went to was in a storage shed. And it was honestly as big as this hotel room.
Yeah.
And we all did CrossFit there, and we all felt like we were badass motherfuckers. I did Helen the first workout, and we didn't need shit. We needed a couple kettlebells and a pull-up bar.
Yep.
And that's the way he did it. And he was like, this is how you're going to make money, because they're paying for the coaching, not the equipment.
Right.
Then Rogue got into it, and I'm not blaming Rogue. They just saw an opening in the market. They came in with all this expensive equipment, and then people started demanding it, because I talked to friends of mine that own gyms. They're like, people be like, oh, we were just over at this, and they have 14 GHD machines. 14 G. Do you really need that many GHD? Can't you get that workout in another way by doing like toes to bar or something?
Yeah.
There's other ways to build that in, that you don't need 14 GHDs or 72 rowers or Woodway treadmill, and now every the erg machine. And they introduced this new products because we're Americans, we're capitalists. We go, I got to buy this shit, and I got to buy this shit, and I need look what he has at his gym. And all of a sudden you have a gym that's more expensive than a global gym. So whose fault is it? Is it Glassman's, or is it the gym owner that tries to compete with the market?
I'm not saying it's Glassman's fault.
No,
at all.
I know you're not.
The progression is always going to happen, right? There's going to be trends that are going to go up and down, right? For sure, 100%. But I think the problem is that when you had this sport that was so phenomenal in marketing, because it was doing that, and you're attracting the CrossFit type athlete, like you're not going to get people that don't want to exercise to come to CrossFit and stick with it. The turnover is going to be super high. I mean, we used to talk about this all the time when I would go. Sometimes I'd travel with her to their seminars, and I was like, yeah, except though, you can't target that community, because they're not going to want to come in. The 6 a.m., the 5 a.m., those guys are fucking crazy. They're like right there at 5 a.m., like ready to work out.
They
would
like, come in
open,
no matter what. Like whether it was CrossFit or running, cycling,
that's the CrossFit
they'd be there.
mentality. It's like it's unique. It's like the MMA community. It's different, and I think you reached a point where it was like, all right, this is it. We tapped out. How do we get those other people to come into our gym? And I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, I think it's an uphill climb.
Right.
I think it's really. Look, the guy built something amazing. Maybe and I think they're at a transition point where they're at a really tough spot.
Right.
And I think he did it before. He might be able to do it again. But if I was a gambling man, I don't know. It's
looking bleak, and I'm rooting for him, even though I'm emotionally pissed off. Because why am I pissed off? Well, like one of my friends got fired the day he found out he had twins, and he was a big part of like this community, like from the YouTube the whole time. He was like he built all that. A lot of our friends, Rory McKernan, like what the fuck. Why?
Yeah.
I don't get it. But that's just an emotional. And if you're taking the emotion out of you're looking at the business, I'm trying to understand where the money's going. If you're being controlled by a bank, the cash flow, they're saying, hey, you have to have X amount of dollars in your cash flow. All right, cool, I get it. But then just fucking say that. Yeah.
Well, but that's the thing. Like all these rumors are flying around about why they're going this way or why they're going in this direction or what, and everybody's assuming this, or you hear this rumor that this, and I've heard 15 different rumors.
Yeah, I just don't trust the guy anymore. He just basically last week said that Facebook and Instagram are social utopians.
Yeah.
As he's going around to China fucking saying, hey, we want more fucking
China's
boxes in the social.
China's the worst of it all. Yeah. He was calling them socialists, or I forget what he was saying. I think it was a bold move.
Yeah.
And if you are the head of a community and you can get your community to do it, like if you go, hey, we're off of it, you guys should get off of it too, because it's they're doing some really shitty stuff, which they are.
They are,
yeah.
100%.
And But look, it's also a community that's been built on it. Like CrossFit's been built on YouTube and Instagram. I mean, without YouTube and Instagram, CrossFit never would have been, and Facebook would never have become what it is. Never. And so all of a sudden you're like biting the hand that's fed you.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And you're going, well, fuck you guys. I don't like the way you operate and the way you ban people and whatever it may be. There's probably so much more to it.
Yeah.
Also, but
this is just like a topical layer that we see.
yeah, that's the thing. It's
Like,
like
you
there's
gotta
probably
scratch further down.
so much, and no one's gonna get to the bottom of it.
These opinions are my own, not related to Margaux Alvarez.
So when you got in trouble, though, what would we say trouble? What happened?
Well, so I was just, I mean, obviously I signed a non-disclosure, so can't like go super deep into it. But I was told I'd be let go, be terminated with CrossFit.
Were you an L1 cert instructor?
Yeah, so I was teaching level 1s. I was about to start teaching level 2s, interning for the level 2 process. And I think the hardest part for me was that was a way for me to connect with the community. And like, yes, I was teaching the methodology and like being a part of the HQ staff and being able to obviously get to know a lot of people, have tons of friends. That was amazing. And I met so many great friends like over the years. Yeah. And I'll still continue to keep in touch. But I think what was so hard is that now I'm not having the chance to travel to different local communities, because I did some here in Vegas and I traveled as far as like Hong Kong, Australia, Canada. And it's like, man, like I love that opportunity to meet other people in other areas and hear about how they found CrossFit or how it changed their life or how it saved their parents' lives, because now they can lift more than like a gallon of milk. Yeah. And I was like, man, that's really cool. Like, so that, I think that was the hardest part was like, man, like I'm not going to be able to do that again.
Did you feel like you were excommunicated out of a cult?
And no, I don't think I felt like excommunicated out of a cult. I felt a lot of support. I got a lot of feedback from people in the community, saying that, good for you, do your own thing. And then obviously when I was let go, people were like, oh my God, that's a bunch of BS. And then on the other side of that, people are like, well, what do you expect? You speak bad about your employer, you're going to let go. And the fact was like, yeah, I'm not speaking bad about my employer. I'm putting the record of what one person is saying, and I'm reiterating it. Not that I was countering what those people were saying, but it's like, hey man, like, yeah, I'm not in charge of their decision if they want to let me go or keep me on.
It sounds to me like it was a big miscommunication problem, because you were basically saying what you thought they were saying, and they thought you were saying something different. That if you had gone to them and like if you had been able to, and that's one of the problems, that there's not this open channel of communication. Yeah. That you were able to say, no, I'm trying to say what you're saying. That's what I meant by that.
And I think what happened is when I sent my newsletter out, there was someone that received it, and it's like the game of telephone. Like, oh, my cat is purple, and it's like, oh, the horse went like hiking up a mountain. It's like, what the fuck? That's not even close.
Did you ever reach out and try to talk to Glassman?
No.
See, I think you'd be surprised because he's so like fucking wacky like that.
Yeah.
You might like call him and he might just be like, yeah, okay, I totally understand. Because I remember there was an issue between two gyms I don't want to talk about because I'm involved in it, where these two gyms were having a real problem. Yeah. And it was all about permits and parking and being in the same area. And the one guy was just like, both of them actually were calling Greg, and Greg was like, look, he tried to mediate the entire thing. So I feel like I'm defending the guy when all I've ever done is make fun of him, but I make fun of everyone, so it's not like
no exclusion.
But I feel like the guy he's like this. I've met a lot of CEOs in my life. And he's not but like founder, owner guy. I've never met one this wacky. Like he's a very interesting man. Yeah, and he's very opinionated, but I feel like if you like got his phone number, got his email, and he'd be like, oh yeah, and he'd be very open minded. The way Hunter got into the games, I swear to God, it was just Armin going, hey, how about Hunter McIntyre getting that ticket? And he was like, okay.
Like putting that chatter out there so that he received it.
There was no thought process to it. He was like, all right, if he wants to do it. Yeah. As far as the other athletes from the other countries, which everyone's so mad about, I just looked into this recently. I was like a decent runner in college, like track. Decent, not good. But I looked at the years I was in college, and I looked at the 110-meter high hurdle finals. Prelims, semis, finals. Okay. And like I would have, with my best times, come in like 5th or 6th in those heats, and I was nowhere. Like if I went to big meets in America, I wouldn't even qualify for the semis. So
get close to that.
What it was is like I could beat everyone from Tajikistan and from Kazakhstan, where they have to jump over boulders instead of like hurdles that are like. So it's like a celebration of the sport. The Olympics is not the best event.
Yeah.
It's a celebration of all the countries coming together. And I think CrossFit, maybe in their head, maybe this is just a hypothesis, was like, hey, we want to be an Olympic sport. Or, hey, we want to be like the Olympics, and it's good for business to include everyone around the world.
Yeah.
So we're going to include them. Doesn't mean they're going to rise to the top.
Yeah.
So the funneling in's a little smaller in America now but it doesn't seem to be. It seems like there's going to be more people.
Yeah.
Oh, there for sure is going to be more people.
Even more from America.
I don't know about that based off the numbers. Like, you think of like how many countries, like, and I will say this past Open is an exception because the next like new season Open will be in October. But this year it's 20 top individuals, like the top 20 in the entire world. And I don't know the number breakdown. Like,
oh wait, I thought it was the top from every country.
So it is the top from this is weird. This is a weird, like, this Open's a weird one. So it's top number one from every country. So like number one from like Bosnia, whatever, all the other countries, one from US, and then top 20 from the Open overall. So like in total Open, I think there's probably, I'm guessing here, 50 to 75% of them are from the US. There might be a couple others that are sprinkled in from other countries. Sure. So they continue on. So that right there, I think there's 163 countries that have an affiliate, plus a 20, that's 183 men, women, individuals as of now. And then all the sanctionals. So there'll probably be over 200 athletes this year.
Okay.
Going forward in October, I think the new Open will be, they're not taking the top 20 Open, they'll just take number one in the Open. So they'll knock another 19 people right there.
Wow.
So again, the ration of people coming from the U.S. compared to other countries will be bigger, because if you look at sanctional events, how many people are going to sanctional events? Now that you have to travel to a sanctional event, people that are either competed at a high level or have competed at the games before are going to travel to those sanctional events to earn their spot. So it'll be diverse because of the countries, like the national champions, but the people winning sanctionals, I don't think they'll be, again, a mix of people. It depends on the event.
Well, it's becoming a more expensive event.
100%.
Or expensive sport for competitors. But I think the good thing was it wasn't before. And now it's getting like most other sports are like that. If you want to compete, I know surfing very well. You want to compete on a high level of surfing, you got to have rich parents.
Yeah, golf.
You want to golf. You want to be you want to race cars. I was asking this guy that was a NASCAR racer. I was like, when do you guys practice? Or not the V8 supercars in Australia.
Yeah.
I was at their event. I said, when do you guys practice? And the guy goes, we don't. I said, why not? He goes, it's too expensive to have the cars out there. I go, so how do they know who's good? And he's like, a lot of these guys are just rich kids that their parents pay for the car.
Right.
And I was like, this sucks.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, you can go down levels like go-karting and stuff. I'm like, you guys are go-kart racers? Then they give you a car and you race. So, it's maybe CrossFit was kind of subsidizing it for all the athletes, which is a great thing. But now they went, hey, we're fucking losing money. Let's let them pay for it themselves. Because that's the thing that I think they know. The people are so passionate about this sport. Like, I was amazed at how much people traveled to these events.
Yeah, I mean, there are some people that are like, oh, I've been to so many. I'm like, that's crazy. I've been to two, and the one was the Rogue Invitational, and then the Granite Games. And the Granite Games obviously was like kind of a last minute thing, so that came up.
And it's like, where are you getting this money? Because only the top level have sponsors. Yeah. And I've asked people who pay. I was asking Froning who paid for his team to go, to Hong Kong, and who paid. That's expensive as fuck.
Yeah, like one flight, then 4 plus the coach or wife or husbands, whoever come.
So again, I think that's the issue with me is like, if you're saying you're doing it for the good of the business, hey, good for you. But at the same time, my problem is that you're calling the athletes clowns, and you're saying that Dave belongs in the kiddie table on previous podcasts. So it's like this mixed message.
He did say that?
Yeah, I want to say it's the one with the Girls Gone Wild.
Girls Gone Wild.
I'll send you the link.
And Glassman was on it?
Yeah, Glassman was on it. And he didn't call specifically Dave the kids table, but he referenced the kids table, and then later he said Dave. But it was kind of like almost like, hey, you're referencing the CrossFit Games belong in the kids table because we're doing this phenomenal thing and saving people's lives. And that's when I was like, what the fuck?
Well, there's talk of, everybody talks about, like, Castro's been castroated, and, he's keeping a really low profile. You don't see him, and is he keeping his head down because he doesn't want to be on the chopping block, or is he had all his power taken away from him, or is he still involved, or, is he there's been all this talk about him programming, and that was one of the things that, people upset about Hunter, and everybody goes, yeah, all they have to do is program a heavy snatch or something, and he's out right away with every. And I said, if the games were like they were before, just like last year, Hunter would do reasonably well, I think, in my opinion, because some of the events are catered more towards someone with an engine and, not the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
But, is Castro programming? How does Castro feel about him? Does he want to program against him? There's a lot of chaotic factors there that I said to Hunter, I said, just don't let it get into your head, because you could beat yourself up over this all night long. But any games competitor can.
For sure.
Oh, I hope my first event's not one of my weaknesses. Or,
and you can't control that. It's literally whatever he programs in. Obviously, the programming changes year after year, and it's not that it might favor someone or another person, but you have to look at it and I feel like people have asked me oh, what do you think this year? I'm like, it's tough because this is going to be so different from previous years, because now you're having over 200 athletes there. 200 athletes are going to go for a run or go for a swim. Someone's going to get kicked in the face or someone's going to get knocked out unconscious. You can't do that. And there needs to be some sort of
there's a lot of logistics,
process.
But they pull it off every fucking. I'm amazed at how they pull it off.
And that's the thing. I'm a big fucking Castro fan. I love that guy. He's always been such a good guy to us. But he's never been about I'm gonna support this athlete over this athlete. He wants to fucking destroy people.
Yeah, he wants to see people go after you want to go after it.
And to me, it makes a lot of fucking sense. Day one, hey, we're gonna run a 10K, because it's just if you can't fucking run, you don't belong to the second day.
Yeah, well, I think what I have seen about Castro, where he does differentiate from Glassman a lot, is that I think he loves that 10 years ago, no one could ever do any of the workouts that they're doing now.
Yep.
And now these people, there's been this human evolution that he's look at what we've created. Look at what we've had human beings do. There could be the argument, yes, we have, but what is the price we pay? Because I talk to a lot of people, off the record, who are I'm a fucking mess. My whole body, people having neurological problems, people having joint and back. And so, but you get that. We could look at the NFL, look at the level we're playing football, but also look at the CTE. Is it worth it?
Yeah.
So, that might be a factor that Glassman's gone. Have we abused these people to get them to this top level of where they're excelling at this amazing? I tried to compete with the 60+ women this year, and I couldn't. I couldn't even come close.
That's funny.
That is awesome.
But yeah, no, 10 years ago, I would have laughed at their workouts, laughed at them and done them twice in a row.
Yeah.
Now it's
elevated.
It's at an extreme level.
Yeah.
And so Castro is responsible for that.
Oh, 100%.
Of pushing it and pushing it and pushing it.
Yeah, pushing the envelope.
I remember sitting in 2013, they busted out the legless, and I was like, what the fuck is that?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
One girl, Pacelli, was able to finish it.
What workout was that?
The legless rope climb.
It was 21 thrusters, 3 legless,
24, 21,
or 20. Yeah, 27.
It was 10 legless rope climbs.
10 legless rope climbs together.
And now it's you better do them in 3 minutes, because this shit's evolving.
I remember when only one person in my gym could do a muscle up.
Yeah. And now it's everyone's doing it.
Yeah, linking them with no problems whatsoever. I see little kids doing it.
They're look at me, and you're oh my god, that's ridiculous.
I think we had a challenge at One World. Freddie and I, we were we challenged the girls. If you can do 30, we'll give you $200. That was back in the day, though. Now it's I would lose that money in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I got that. No big deal.
Yeah, no, I'm rooting for. Glassman, if you're listening, you're probably not, but if you are, I'm rooting for you. I hope you know what you're doing. I've always thought you were a genius. I don't think that anymore, but hopefully I'm wrong.
I'm interrupting this amazing show for 1 second. No, maybe 2, maybe 3, but it's a really important reason that I'm stopping the show, because I want you to go help yourself. I want you to make your life better. You know how long I've been talking about on this show about your workout's not the only thing that matters. There's a lot of things that go into your health, and that is your sleep, your nutrition, your rest, your recovery. And one of the best ways to keep track of that is Whoop. Whoop, that's right. Whoop, here it is. Did I just say that? Yeah. Well, Whoop is a performance tool that is changing the way people track their fitness and optimize their training. It's a wrist-worn heart rate monitor that pairs with an app on your phone that provides analytics and insight on recovery, strain, and sleep. You're going to know when your body's recovered or when it needs rest by getting to know your nervous system through a thing called heart rate variability. I'm learning all about heart rate variability. I didn't realize how important it is. And also, this tracks the quality of your sleep. It automatically tracks workouts, and you get a strain score that lets you know how strenuous your training was on your body. And you see even more data like average heart rate, max heart rate, calories burned, get optimal sleep times based on how strenuous your day was, and track sleep performance. Like, it's going to tell you how much sleep you need in a night. Okay, so you're going to go to bed earlier. Like right now, I did terrible. I trained a lot today. I surfed today, and my wife yelled at me a lot today, and I didn't sleep a lot last night, and it's basically telling me, get to bed right now. And it tracks everything. It tells you your sleep cycles, like your deep sleep, your SWS, which is, and your what's the other one? Your REM. And it tells you how much you get that, how consistent your sleep is, like how many times you are woken up in the middle of the night. So I have a little 4-year-old that climbs in my bed and keeps me up a lot. And, that shows up. It actually shows up in my tracking. If you like to nerd out on stuff, you'll go crazy with this stuff because it's just so good to see. I only got 5 hours and 40 minutes of sleep last night. I need way more. And I had 5 disturbances. How about that? So check them out. They just released the new Whoop Strap 3.0, which includes new upgrades to hardware and unlocks a suite of new software features for their app. The Whoop Strap 3.0 now has 5-day battery life. How about that? 5 days this thing goes. An improved strap and live heart rate monitoring, in addition to a handful of new in-app features. When you charge it, you just put this little thing over it that's been charging. You put it over it while you sleep, and when you wake up, it's charged for another 5 days. How about that? So they at Whoop, like us and like you, and they want to give you $30 off your purchase with this code, WODcast. Imagine that. That's the code, WODcast. $30 off a 12 or 18-month membership. Go to www.whoop.com. That's WHOOP.com. Put in WODcast, and you're going to get $30 off. I really, really think this is good for all of you, and I think you should try it. So check it out. Boom. Whoop. Whoop. There it is. Whoop.com. Here I go again to talk to you about something that is off the subject right now, but it should help a lot of you. And that's Tiger Balm. Okay? Working out, it's good for you, right? But you pay the price afterwards. You get muscle aches, pains, and you don't have to suffer anymore. So do what I've been doing. I use Tiger Balm Active pre and post workout. All right? When I get super sore, anytime I do a workout like one of a long, like a lot of volume workout, like when I did Murph, anything that, like lots of reps, I just get so sore, especially my legs. And the new thing I do that's an essential part of my workout routine is I use Tiger Balm Active. So before I work out, I put on the muscle rub. I rub my muscles. No, I use a muscle rub. It's a non-greasy, warming, muscle rub that gets my muscles ready to go. It warms them up. And then post-workout, I use Tiger Balm Active's Muscle Gel. It's a non-sticky, cool to warm sensation, and it's great for cool downs, and it just, it makes pain go away. So, like, if you don't want to be in pain after you work out, DOM sucks. Put on this muscle gel, you're going to feel great. And they have a muscle spray that you can spray on, which is great for those hard-to-reach places. And it's good for on the go, and just throw it in your bag. And you can throw these all in your bag. So, check them out. Be ready for whatever workouts throw your way with Tiger Balm Active. Pick up all 3 of these amazing products. Tiger Balm Active Muscle Rub, Tiger Balm Active Muscle Gel, Tiger Balm Active Muscle Spray. And they're all available at your local CVS or Rite Aid store today. Wanted to plug a sponsor of the show that I just fully 100% get behind and believe in. And I'm not just saying this because they're paying me. I'm saying this because I met these guys, had a long talk with them, and then they sent me their product. And I told them, I said, look, if I don't believe in your product, I don't want to push it. I got the product and I was like, oh my God, this stuff is the best in the world. And after talking to them, I wish they're in Pennsylvania, but I wish they would come out to LA and I could have them on the show, because there's so much they explained to me that I would like to explain to you about why their stuff is so good and why big name companies that I'm not going to mention have crappy products that they're pushing on you, that you're buying because of the name. The company is called Exoskin, and it's a seamless. When I say seamless is good, because if you're performing and there's a lot of movement, arms, legs, whatever, you're going to get blisters, abrasions, burning, whatever it is. And you get that because of the seams. You don't get that with Exoskin. Exoskin. It's 100% designed, manufactured in the USA, and using their patented fibers. They have this PTFE and copper. They explained to me why you want to use copper, because I was like, is metal good? And they're like, copper's incredible. And they've got a 3-dimensional knit structure to provide unsurpassed comfort and performance. And if you're a runner and endurance athlete, there's nothing better, because this, no chafing, no blisters, no hot spots, and no odor. So if you're a CrossFitter, some of you are disgusting. Start wearing this stuff and you're not going to smell. It's going to keep you comfortable, and it's going to keep everyone around you in the gym happy. So they have a full line of athletic apparel for men, women, including shirts, compression bottoms, 6 styles of socks. They've got toe socks, which I've been wearing. They look like those, what are those, Vibram shoes? But you put them on your you put them on your feet and then in your shoes, your regular shoes. I use them. I did a 15-mile run. No blisters. Not at all. 0. And then you just like basically rinse them out, and then they're good to go for another run. You don't even throw them in the wash because you don't want to destroy the fabrics, and it doesn't smell at all. And they explained to me the chemistry and why they don't smell. But these guys have been independently tested for wicking and drying rates against brands like North Face, Icebreaker, Under Armour. Guess what? They beat them all. And all the guys in all the big races, from the Barclay, if you ever watched the Barclay movie on Netflix, guys that run all Badwater, the Badwater 135, all these big, long endurance races, they're wearing this stuff. So if you have any kind of marathon, 10K, anything you're doing, get this stuff. At least get the socks and thank me. You can get 20% off an order at exoskin.us. That's exoskin.us. exoskin.us. Enter the code WODCAST at checkout. They stand behind every product with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Wear it for 30 days. You're not completely satisfied, they'll give you a full refund. Try Exoskin, your second skin. Exoskin.us. How did you two meet?
So we actually met at a bar in in Fremont in California.
Okay.
It was called what was it called?
Saddle Rack.
So it was like a country line dancing bar. So I was at
Fremont?
Fremont's like south of like the East Bay. If you look at like the Bay Area, like on the East Side, like south of like
other side of Redwood City.
I think I know this place.
Yeah.
Really?
Wait, is it next to Tommy T's?
I don't know.
I've heard of Tommy T's, but
is it near Concord?
No, Concord's north. So like this is like probably like 45 minutes an hour south. No, I've heard of Tommy T's. Yeah,
because there was like I used to work at a comedy club where it was what
was it called?
On one side it was like this ghetto like dance club where like.
Wait, was that in Walnut Creek?
Yes. And then on the other side was line dancing. And so you'd have like...
Was it right next to the BART station? Like where the BART drives by? Like off of Main Street? I think I know where you're talking about.
You'd have all these like gangsters in one room and all these rednecks in the other.
That's so
just like
funny.
In the same bar. And the one in one room and one in the other. And I was like, this is just like, you guys are waiting for like a civil war here. Like
there's like two places I'm thinking about. It was either like downtown Walnut Creek and like had like a dance floor. They'd play like dance music. And the next one was like, look like a country bar where like you're just chilling. And it's funny because I remember out there with a girlfriend of mine long time ago. But it's like they had like blue lights in one room and then like regular lights in the other room. You're just like chilling. That's funny. Oh man.
Because I would perform in the comedy club in the other room.
Okay.
And then
I didn't know they had a comedy club there.
And then you would come over there and I was like, this is not going to end well.
Like day and night. Different weird worlds.
Yeah, it was really weird.
That's funny.
Freddie and I were debating aerobic capacity back in 2011, right?
Yeah.
And I was getting text messages. It was like 12:30
from Anna.
I was having a great time talking to China and Freddie. I was at their place, And then Anna was like, "Hey, there's hot girls here from another gym," and I was like, "Fuck, this is better than talking about where the sport's
right now.
going." So she messaged me like 4 or 5 times, and luckily I had to go home, and I was sober to drive, of course, and so I went home. But on the way, I didn't drink much, so I would stop at the bar
because you had to drink much.
I didn't drink much. So I stopped at the bar and I was like, just, chill here, see what's up. And then I saw her. She was wearing this white dress. And I was like, holy shit, she's fucking hot. And so I was like, I got all nervous. And I was like, do what I do. I don't know what to do. So I was like, oh, fuck. So I tried to talk to her and I couldn't talk to her. So I just said, hey, I'm Alex. And then I walked away.
So, yeah. So it was funny.
That's a good pickup move.
Yeah, it worked, man.
Hi, I'm Alex. Goodbye.
That's pretty much what it was like. So we were dancing and we took a break, and a friend of mine, Chris, was like, hey, someone wants to meet you. And Anna had grabbed my friend's attention. I guess we're randomly talking. And so I got up and he was like,
Had you started CrossFitting yet?
Yeah. So this was like,
oh my God.
This was like, was it like March, April, May?
If you ever drank Kool-Aid, this girl drank like concentrated
I think
syrup.
this was like 6 or 7. 6 or 7 months into CrossFit.
Tell them the first thing you told me.
Yeah, I will. And I was just like, so like, I was like loving CrossFit. And this was like right after the games. So I was like, I'm going to compete. I'm going to like go to the games and I want to be at this level, blah, blah, blah.
You were right.
Yeah. And so, he was like, hi, my name's Alex. I just want to introduce myself and say hi. Hope you have a good night. And then turned around and walked away.
Like
so like
bitch.
Me being like, yeah, like a bitch. Me being who I am, I'm very outgoing. Like I don't give no shits. I'll like go talk to any girl, guy, whatever, doesn't matter. And so I walked back up to him and I was like, well, if you're going to introduce yourself, we can at least talk for a little bit. So we like started talking. I think we talked for about 10 minutes, but I was like, I'm pretty much like, it was like, hi, my name's Margaux. I love CrossFit and I want to go to the CrossFit games. And he's like, oh yeah, that's
like,
great.
Oh, okay, cool. I go every year.
Yeah. And then I just professed my love to CrossFit, how like I volunteered at the games and was at regionals and I want to do this, and this.
And you were coaching at the time?
Yeah. So I was after the Marines, I became a man nurse, and I worked all over as a travel nurse.
When you said merce, I thought like a mercenary. And I just pictured you like, I just go to any country that'll hire me, and I just kill people.
Man, I wish. No, yeah, so I became a nurse, and it was a great job, so it got me to San Francisco. That's why I was there. And so, but then as I fell in love with CrossFit myself, like, what was that, 2011?
6.
So 2006 is when I started. Anyways, it got me. The reason I went to San Francisco was because CrossFit One World back in the day, I don't know if you remember, was like always on the HQ's videos. Mm-hmm. But in any case, yeah. So I would work nights and then I would go and I would coach in the morning, like 2 hours, because I was so in love with it. Right, it was so awesome. I always felt like as a coach, I was doing more for people than I was in the ICU, and I'm just crushing chests and trying to keep them alive. And you keep them alive, and then they're just vegetables for the rest of their lives. Yeah. So I fell in love with it. It was cool. And so I was a coach, and I was at that time, the year before, China had gone to the game, so it was interesting to see China in 2010 and then Freddie in 2011 and just learn how the games was. And then I had gone to 29 and 208 and just, you see the growth of it from the grassroots, from the Woodstock to now what it is now. So it's been really fucking cool. But yeah, when she told me I'm going to the games, I was like, oh shit.
I was just again like Kool-Aid drinking. I think, and I had done a podcast recently with Sean Woodland, and I was kind of telling him like I was kind of naive to think like, oh, I'm gonna get there. I'm like didn't really know what it was gonna take to get there, but in my mind I was like, I'm gonna at least try because I won't know until I try. And I think that was just the attitude that I had with anything that I wanted. I want this, cool, I'm gonna try for it. I ended up like letting go of my marketing job that had full-time benefits and pay.
Wow.
To like become a CrossFit coach and be able to have more time to train. Just because I was a personal trainer before, but I loved being able to help others and give back to others. And like, I know I wanted to succeed in some sort of health and fitness avenue, and I wanted to help others with their fitness goals. And so that was my inspiration between being a personal trainer and coach.
I said the same thing. My first day at CrossFit, I was like, I'm going to the games. and then I did Helen and I sprinted the first 400. I ran the 400 in college, and I was like, oh yeah,
I got this.
3 400s, big, and then 12 and 21. Oh,
no big deal.
And I sprinted the first 400. And Kenny Kane, who owns CrossFit LA, Oak Park, he's a buddy of mine. Used to be a stand-up comedian. As I take off, Kenny ran like a 4:05 mile. Snap. But he knows, that I was really fast in 400, and he goes, there goes the sprinter. And he's just like laughing, like he has no idea what he's doing.
Oh my God, but that was epic.
And literally, when I started the kettlebell swings, I watched Gretchen. I forget Gretchen's name. She's great. Gretchen used to be a coach at Paradiso. Gretchen comes in about 20, 30 seconds after me, picks up the kettlebell and passes me by.
Crushed you.
On just round one, she passes me.
Man.
And I'm like,
man.
I think I gauged this wrong. I don't think I'm ever going to be in the CrossFit Games. And I just remember, they were all like around me at the end. Come on, you can finish it.
Yeah.
And I remember they're like, that's what we do here. And I'm like, fuck this CrossFit shit where everybody cheers for you. I don't want you cheering for me. I just competed against you.
Awesome.
And
Let me be.
To me, it was like disrespectful. Like
Yeah.
you just beat me, and now you're like, come on. I was
You
like,
can
no,
do
no,
it.
fuck off. You
Yeah.
should be stepping on my fingers for me sprinting out of here when I get down to, and lying on the ground. I was mad about that, and I never liked that aspect of
Yeah.
it. I never liked I see why it works, and I see why it's good. And I do it every once in a while where I see somebody that needs help, and I go over, and I'm like, come on, dude, you got this.
Yeah.
But I hated that, like, let's all go cheer for them. Come on, team. You're doing so well. And I was like,
man.
fuck off. Fuck
Me.
off. I'm in my own world right now. This is none of your business. And
Go turn away.
but where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in Montana. So I was born in La Jolla in California
Wow.
and San Diego. Lived there for about 5 years until my youngest sister was born. And then we moved to Washington State, lived there for about 3 years, like Mercer Island, Bellevue.
Were you military?
No, so we weren't military. My dad didn't like being in big cities, so he thought leaving
Who
La Jolla.
does?
Yeah, right. He said, like, let's leave La Jolla. Went to Mercer Island. That was nice, but there was like too many people still. So we moved from Washington to Montana. And after about 5 years, he was like, this is too hillbilly. We need to get the fuck out of here. My mom was like,
Montana.
no.
What part of Montana?
So you know where Missoula's at?
Yeah.
So 30 minutes south in Stevensville. So
Jesus.
lived like on a dirt road, like Windwalker Trail Road was the road we lived on.
Oh my God.
It's beautiful,
It's
though.
gorgeous though. It's beautiful. So like my grandparents moved up there, like I think in like the 70s. Had a nice piece of property. My grandma's still up there in the house, and then we ended up buying property next door, and so we built the house there. We moved there in '93, so I was there for 10 years, and I pretty much consider that home because that's where I grew up. Graduated high school, and my mentality was like, at the time, I was really nervous about getting into school, so I think I applied to like 20 different schools. I was like, man, I hope I
have
can
a
get
feeling
in.
you're a bit of an overachiever.
So it's funny because I was really nervous. Like my grades were really good, minus calculus, but test taking skills like the worst ever. Like I think my best SAT was like maybe 1,000.
Oh,
like,
that's bad.
Yeah, it's bad. Like I trip out.
She has dyslexia, and she's really fucking
Numbers
smart.
are really hard for
and
me.
so like reading is always getting her, but super smart. Like, a lot of the CEOs in the world are dyslexic.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Where'd you go to college then?
So I went to school in Hawaii Pacific University. So I was like, I want to get out of Montana. I
Did
want
you say Hawaii?
Yeah. So I was like, oh, Hawaii should be good.
I like how you live it in. You're like, we moved around Montana, Hawaii, La Jolla. It sounds like your life was a vacation, right?
Well, it's funny because La Jolla, I don't remember much of it from like pictures and videos, but going back now, I'm like, man, we should have stayed here. It's gorgeous.
fuck yeah.
I mean, obviously it was hell expensive now, but yeah, so I went to school in Hawaii. I liked it. My dream school was UW in Washington. That was like my dream school.
Well, let's just say it worked out for you.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But I wanted to go. I started golfing when I was 8, and I did volleyball, same thing, kind of like all through my junior high school years. And I wanted to go to school for either volleyball or golf. I was told I was too short for volleyball because I was 5'7", and everyone's like over 6 foot, except for a couple people. And then the golf team in Hawaii was non-existent at the time, and because of Title IX, they needed to do a girls and a guys golf team
Right.
to make it equal. There was 2 guys that were interested and myself, and so the guy that was going to supposedly start the golf team was like, "Yeah, we'll do this." He was owner or like managed one of the newspapers there in Hawaii, but I think the golf thing was just like, oh, I want to do it, but never actually came.
Is that
to.
on Oahu?
Yeah, on Oahu. Yeah, in
Is that the
downtown
one
Oahu.
do you drive by the stadium?
Like,
No, that's University of Hawaii.
yeah, University of Hawaii. Yeah, that's in Manoa. So actually, a friend of mine's going to go there this year. But yeah, so that's like probably 20 minutes away from
Okay.
downtown, 15
Okay.
depending on traffic. So, but yeah, so I went there and no golf ever came out of it. So I was like, oh, I'll just do school here and focus on study broads. So I went to school for 5 years there, got a a BSBA in corporate communications, and then international business and Spanish minor.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was cool. It was fun, but I was like, do I want to stay on the islands or do I want to
So you
leave?
didn't play any sports through college?
No, I would run on my own. Actually, I did outrigger canoe paddling like as a club sport, that was fucking hard, but
Yeah, it
really
looks
good.
really hard.
Yeah. We did the Molokai race. It's called Nahuahin for the women, but it's where you paddle from Molokai Island
Yeah.
to Oahu.
Yeah, I know
It's like
it.
40.1
Yeah,
miles.
yeah.
Holy shit balls. Like,
Yeah.
mentally, like, you had to, like, you literally had to stay in it. We were, so, like, A is, like, the best boat, B, and then C, we were in the C boat because it was, like, the least amount of experienced girls. I've been doing it for, like, maybe a year. So we're like, yeah, let's do it. Like, I don't know what I was thinking or what I was doing,
Yeah.
but I was like, yeah, let's do this. It took us, like, longer than anticipated. I think for women, it can take the fastest. It can take like 4, maybe 4.5, 5 hours. It took us like 8 hours because when
It's like
we
a
got
marathon row.
yeah, pretty much. We got to the island of Oahu, and the girl that was steering our boat, we got too close to the wave break. Our boat flipped over, so we had to get out, like, bucket all the water
Eddie
out.
Aikau didn't show up and
Yeah, right, didn't help us out.
Swim to the shore for you.
Yeah, it was crazy though. She was like crying, like super sad, and like our coach James was like, "Hey, do you guys want to finish this?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, we're gonna finish this. We just paddled fucking 7 hours to get to the fucking ocean of like Oahu on the edge, and it's like we're not gonna finish. Like fuck no." So I was like, I was so mad. I was like, "We're finishing this shit." So we finished, but it was like afterwards, I was the sorest and like most burnt ever. But it was an amazing experience.
Worse feeling than after the CrossFit Games.
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it was relative. So at that time, it was relative because I just remember like getting out of the boat, like, let's do a picture. I'm like, I can barely move. But I think, I don't know. Right now, my quads are super sore. So like, I think that right now this supersedes that. But,
so where do you, where do you think your CrossFit ability came from?
I think a lot of the training that I did with golf, like mental capacity, like
Really?
I know people are like, what? And I think because golf is so mental. Like you have 18 holes, right? So like, depending, obviously, if you're hitting par, that's 72 strokes. But it's like you're on one hole and you have a shitty ball, right? You shank it really far to the left or right. You like can't get super frustrated and pissed because it's like you still got to finish the hole, and then you have 17 other holes you got to do.
Yeah, you got to stay in the moment.
Totally.
Yeah, it's
100%.
every shot.
Yeah.
I watched a buddy of mine. I caddied for him in the U.S. Open.
That's awesome.
And,
You caddied for him?
U.S. Open qualifier. Yeah,
That's awesome.
He was a really good golfer and best athlete I know growing up. And he just took golf was like his fourth sport.
That's awesome.
But he was just so good at it. And I went to the qualifier with him. He was like, "Your job is to just keep me level. Like, make me laugh. Let's talk shit and just keep my head on straight." And he was playing his first shot. He duffed off the tee, and I was like, "This is fucking embarrassing, dude. Why'd you bring me into this?" And I was like, "Literally, there's people up on the tee watching us, and I'm with you, you loser." And
that's funny. Did he laugh?
So no. That's what I was saying in my head. I was like, I got to get the fuck out of here. This guy's going to be a disgrace. Because I was like, we're now, it's one thing to play at your country club. It's another thing to play in a tournament in front of everybody.
Totally watching you.
So then his second shot, he shanks it onto the other hole, like over the trees onto the other hole. And I'm like,
man, that's a bummer.
I'm like, this is going to be a long fucking day. This is shot number 2. And so I don't even say anything. I'm like, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut because this is bad. This is ugly. Shot number 3 on the green, and he putts for par.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
And I went, oh, this is how he's a pro, and I suck. Like, I would have gone over to another, there would have been 14 more shots. So I go, oh, I get it. Like, he was able to hit it back over the trees onto the green, like it was par 4, and I was just so amazed by that.
That's awesome.
So he just keeps playing par golf, 1 under, 1 under, 1 under, and then we get on this one tee, and he hits it out of bounds, and he's like, "Fuck, motherfucker," and he gets the ball up again, hits the second one out of bounds.
Oh,
and he goes,
man, 2 for 2.
He goes, "That's it. That's the whole thing. That's it. It's over. I'm not making it now." And I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, why would you?" And he got in his head, and he was like, "This is bullshit." The whole that whole hole we played with him in this bad mood, cranky, quitting, talking about how he's wasting his life, blah blah blah, and I kind of talked him back in. I said, "Come on, let's relax. Let's just have fun." And he played the rest of the 18 and played well. And we went up, and he missed qualifying by 1 stroke.
Oh man!
And I felt like if he hadn't
gotten negative.
Yeah.
Yep.
that he would have qualified.
Totally.
And I was just like, look, you're one stroke away. And he's like, wow, that's 2 shots out of bounds. I was like, yeah, but you got angry after the first one.
Yeah.
And then you hit the second one out because you were in a bad
Exactly, because you're upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so that's not, golf has no mental toughness, though.
I think, I mean, in terms of mental toughness, I think it depends on obviously who you're talking to or like what they feel. But I think in terms of like, if you think of like mental fortitude with like, okay, I got to grind through this workout, right?
Did you have gymnastic ability? Like, were you a gymnast as a kid?
No. So I had, I rode horseback. I rode horses. So I did horseback riding. I did Taekwondo. Actually, I would say Taekwondo was probably something that helped as well.
Sure.
I did that for about 4 years.
What's your best finish at the games?
9th, and that was in 2015.
You were the 9th fittest person in the world with this like zero background in running, gymnastics, weightlifting. Like I think you usually find when you talk to these people, you find or you find out they're like farmers, like a Froning. Well, he was an athlete in every sport.
Yeah, but he was farming, working out, like move. I remember reading his book, and his dad is like, "Hey, move this pile of like bricks from one side to the next." Like, now move it back.
Sean Sweeney's the same way.
Yeah.
He was power cleaning 315 when he went to the games.
Yeah,
that was the time that nobody was doing.
Yeah, he was already power cleaning that, so obviously he had the ability.
And he was working with a football program, a Division 2 or 3 football program as their weight coach. So there's it's all you're doing all day long. You can kind of work backwards and reverse engineer and see where a games athlete got it. I do not see golf and equestrian as being the things that get you there.
Totally.
So the when you're looking at the snatch, like the first pull and the second pull are kind of similar in terms of the patience that you need.
In the back, like a
there's
backswing.
no third pull in the golf, but
seems like the backswing.
I have said that the snatch is just like a golf swing. I will give you that.
Yeah, that's the only piece.
Because I fucking hate the snatch because I hate doing that repetitive over and over and over. Weirdly, I didn't mind. That's what hurdling is. You're just practicing that hurdle technique over the hurdle, over the hurdle, over the hurdle. And I liked it because it was faster. But for snatch, I was like, I'm not fucking swinging a golf club again. This is my dad yelling at me on the range.
That's funny.
Like your left arm's bending. Yeah, you're pulling the club back too far. And I'm like, here it goes again.
Yeah.
So I've always said that like people that are good at snatch. So I do get that.
Yeah.
But there's so much more to it.
Oh, for sure. I think, and that's where it's like, I remember the first time we started hanging out, we went to a gym and we're snatching. And I remember getting so
like your first date.
pissed.
I was trying to bone her.
And I was just looking for tips on how to lift better.
I love him.
It was unsuccessful for a long fucking time.
Whatever.
I love though. You take her to date. You're like, this chick loves CrossFit.
Yeah.
I'm going to take her to a gym.
Our first date was with Freddie in China.
Oh yeah, it was.
I thought that was going to be like my way of
like
her falling in love with me.
She'll be impressed.
Yeah, she's like, I gotta go.
I gotta go work out.
What's Freddie doing these days?
He's working for Tesla. He's security. He gave up. No, I don't know if he gave up, but he switched professions from the SWAT and Fremont PD to Tesla security, which is probably a good job, depending on what Tesla's doing nowadays. Yeah, and then China's doing really well. She's in the Mayhem team.
Okay,
so she's with Rich.
Yeah,
and I think they were together in Anaheim this weekend.
Yeah,
they're at Disney and China.
And what about Freddie and CrossFit?
He's not doing like competition anymore.
Yeah.
He's supporting his gym. He's supporting his gym, as is China. But I think he's working nights again with Tesla, so that's kind of hard to.
Yeah.
The competition is just getting ridiculous in the Masters level.
Yeah, everything is just crazy people. I mean, still to be that fit at that age. Yeah,
it's insane.
Awesome.
And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think there's a lot of PEDs there.
Think so?
Yeah, absolutely. And I have no problem saying it. Like, look, people get popped all the time, so it's not like I'm out there saying something that's not known. But I think, and it just might be me sour grapes because I'm an old guy, and I'm like, I can't do this shit, and I get hurt, and I'm going, how the fuck are these guys building this muscle at this age and getting this big and strong? And I just think that, I know guys that have, I know guys that do. I don't like to accuse anyone because I do believe there's so many people out there that aren't doing it.
Yeah.
But I think in the Masters, it lends itself to it. I got crushed by a Masters woman the other day doing Murph. Crushed. I mean, just crushed. And she was wearing a weight vest too, and I wasn't. And I was like, I wouldn't think that she is, you know, like she's just a way better, you know, more in shape than me and works out, like trains a lot harder than I do. But I do think in Masters to like the ability these guys are hitting, it has to exist just because of the lack of testosterone at that age. And well, I think it's more like the hormone replacement therapy or like testosterone or anti-aging or something like that. I don't even know about that. I don't know if somebody is because I've heard, you know, they're like, go to the doctor, they'll prescribe it for you because you're probably it's low. And I don't even know if they accept that for them. If those guys if it's prescribed.
Yeah, I don't think they would. No.
So they are allowed to do it.
No.
They're not allowed, even if it's prescribed by a doctor.
You're not. Yeah, you're not. But
it's not allowed. It's not allowed in your system.
But are people doing it though?
I don't know. For sure they are.
Yeah.
I mean, this year I'm pretty sure a lot of people just said fuck it because the testing is probably really weak.
I think Hunter just told me he got tested last week.
Oh, did he really?
They got him at the Granite Games. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He said somebody just showed up and, you know, like my name's on a list, you know, like look out for this guy.
And that's something they do too. I mean, 2009 when she got ninth, or 2015 when she got ninth, she got tested a lot of times.
Yeah.
And then
like randomly tested.
I mean, everybody knows Margaux's not the strongest girl out there, so they're not going to spend their money like continuously test.
Sure.
So if they see like a big gain in someone, they might just target that person.
Yeah, but there's also, I mean, like everybody, like if you listen to any of the experts on it, like Victor Conti or who ran Balco Laboratories,
I've heard his stuff, or
Roberts or any of these guys, and look, Lance Armstrong, they tested him. He was the most tested man in history of sports and tested negative every single time.
Yeah.
So I've had friends in the NFL that have used it all the whole way through the NFL. I've had friends
that haven't.
And so to me, it's one of these things. It's like I look at them and I'm like, does he or doesn't he? You know, Ricky Gerard. You know, what did he get? Second or third? And got popped.
Third, I think was it? Yeah. Third.
It's the funniest thing about it all is everybody's so mad about Hunter. More people are mad about Hunter not qualifying for the games and getting a ticket than Ricky Gerard getting popped. And I was like,
testing.
Yeah, they're like, Hunter cheated his way into the games. And I'm like, what do you call that? But my thing is, it's like bodybuilding. I look at bodybuilders, I'm like, they're all on fucking steroids.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Right. If everyone did steroids at the games, it's like it's an equal playing field.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that is a solution too, because I mean, people talk about how it gives you this advantage, but so does like 10 years of gymnastics, or so does being 5'6" with like 2-inch arms, you know, like
fucking me with that long levers over here.
There's tons of different things that can give you an advantage in every different kind of sport. So I'm a firm believer of like, if people are going to get so upset about it and they're not going to be able to catch it, it creates a dishonest environment. So I'd rather have. Look, we have a scaled division and a regular division. Why not have a PED division and a natural? They do it in bodybuilding.
Yeah. They do.
And
that is true. That is true. So true.
They catch guys in the natural division.
Oh my goodness!
Using steroids, and I'm like,
that's crazy.
What is wrong with you?
Just do the other version. Yeah, I remember hearing about. So like before I started CrossFit, when I first kind of moved to the Bay, I had some friends that would do like the bodybuilding or bikini, whatever. And they're like, "Oh, you should check it out. You should do it." I was like, "Oh," I don't know. Like, looks like fun, but I think the hardest part would be like not eating certain things, like only eating like asparagus and fish for like 3 or 4 weeks, whatever. But I remember talking to one lady. Her name was Terry Merriman. She was telling me about how like there's like a natural division. She's like, "But you have to really fight the accusations from the other divisions, because it's like they'll say, oh, that you're using or that you're doing this or you're doing that." But it's like, because she did natural she competed for I think like 20 years or something like that, or 15 years. She did it ever since she was young. But it's like there's that natural division, but you have to fight really hard for it, because a lot of people in this industry take PEDs for like the bodybuilding and for whatever hormones or whatever. And I've talked to some people after they competed in it, when I was coaching. When I first started coaching, people came like, "Hey, like my hormones are all messed up. I was taking all these they would just say drugs or PEDs for bodybuilding, and now like my body's all messed up, my hormones are all messed up. I'm holding on to weight in certain locations that I never had issues with." And I'm like, "Oh man," I was like, "I don't even have the education for that." I was like, I mean, I can help you get stronger, like I can help you work on capacity, but I was like, with that, I have no expertise, so I can't even suggest or recommend. I was like, talk to your doctor, get blood tests. I don't know, but it's like, I can only imagine that obviously it's a whole nother world.
There's girls that you look at like Margaux in China and Lauren Fisher that you're like, yeah, they're clean, and then there's some that you're like, what? But I don't really like to blame or accuse them because you never know. Maybe they're just, their bodies are like that, maybe they're just.
There's a lot of that. There's that athlete right now. I forget her name. I had it memorized and I can't remember it now. I specifically memorized it so I could bring it up. But she tested so high with testosterone, naturally.
Oh, she's the one from a different country?
Yeah.
I think so.
And they want her to take estrogen.
Yeah,
they want to bring her level down because it's not at a normal level. And it's like, no, that's how she was created. That's how she exists. And that's, some people are taller, some people are shorter.
Yeah.
Some people,
you can't add inches to someone that's short or vice versa.
Yeah, she has higher. You're gonna, and they're like, if she wants to compete in the sport, is she? I think she's a runner. Is she a runner?
That's crazy. Was this was recently?
She was a sprinter. I think it was a sprinter.
She was a sprinter.
It's
such a controversy, and I'm like, this is insanity that they're trying to like drug her down to an equal playing level, and it's like,
well, what makes? I mean, this is going to be a side tangent, but
that's what this show should be called.
Yeah, I know, right? But people are so upset about that. Why aren't they? Again, this is completely side tangent.
Alex is giving you the don't
He's saying
do it.
No,
don't do it. Is that an off-air conversation? Yeah.
No, we're not going there.
Now everyone's going to write to me and be like,
I know. What were they talking about?
What? You're never going to know.
But I just think that's not cool. I mean, that's how she naturally was born, and that's natural, and she didn't take anything. Then it's like, why would you try to like change who she is for competition?
It's really weird. It's really weird. We've been on forever, and I realize this
you got to go to work.
I just realized that I have a show. What time is it?
Oh shit! It's 6:38.
Oh, I'm okay. Right. I don't.
Sorry, man.
No, these are the kind of shows I like where we get lost in the conversation because sometimes how CrossFitters are. You got to kind of pull it out of them. They're not very. So, but you two are like fucking totally social. Are you going to the waves?
I wouldn't say Alex is totally social.
I'm not social.
But,
I'm an introvert.
Yeah, but you make me laugh all the time.
He is really funny.
Yeah,
I will say he doesn't like many cities or being around a lot of people. But like Vegas, for some reason, is different. It's an exception.
I don't.
I love Vegas.
I think because it's so eclectic. Like you see so many different people, like just walking around, like so many people watching.
So much ambition here. Like,
why'd you guys move here?
50 million tourists. Alcohol sales are 1 billion plus in the Strip alone.
Yeah.
So you're not there's not a whole lot of winemakers in the city or wine brands. So we're like, if we stay in Napa, we're going to be another.
We'd get melted out.
Yeah, if we stay in Paso Robles or even Sacramento, we won't make it through.
So your vineyards are here?
No, we started in Utah, and it's hard to sell Utah grapes. So we were taking our grapes to Paso Robles, and we started meeting a bunch of people, and so we started outsourcing grapes, and that's where the goat came from. Goat is 100% Paso Robles. That's an amazing, complex, bold, jammy wine.
So your grapes are there.
Yeah, grapes and wine are sourced from Paso Robles, and we do everything there in Paso.
So you guys go back and forth?
Yeah. We do a lot of traveling.
How far is that to go?
About 6 hours, not too bad. Maybe like depending. I think last month Alex made like 2 trips there. 4 trips there. So depending on the month, like this month we might go there once a month. Next month might be once a month.
And there's a time though where you're picking all the grapes, and you have people working there like helping you.
No, so what we do is we use the CrossFit community to help out, and they've been really amazing. So there's a CrossFit gym that's close to our farm.
You're not fucking kidding.
No, they fucking love it.
So the farm that we have in Utah, it's like just 20 minutes north of St. George, CrossFit Black Ridge, and then a couple other gyms.
Jessica and Josh,
they're the managers, owners of that. And so we've had that gym, CrossFit Zion, a couple other places in St. George, and even
and now there's a lot of interest here in this area to go help out. But I mean, if it's just me and her, it takes us about 6 hours to do a row. And if it's 20 CrossFitters, it'll take us about less than an hour.
So you get a whole bunch of CrossFitters to go out there and pick grapes. You got slave labor going on.
Yeah. So we'll do a workout in the morning.
We give them some wine, some beverages, and some food.
Yeah, and it's cheap labor because a lot of them are Mormon. They don't drink. So we'll do a morning workout, and then we'll feed them. We'll do like a nice barbecue, and I mean,
sounds fun.
Yeah,
it's super fun. So
that sounds like a great experience.
A lot of people like
we wouldn't have been successful without them.
Yeah, for sure. We wouldn't have been able to do everything, like all the harvesting.
Have you set this up like that you can like have a thing where
no,
you
but
should?
we should this past year because there's a lot of changes with like moving and focusing on the growth of the brand and like obviously coming here. We didn't end up harvesting like the majority of grapes that we usually do. We kept most of the Utah grapes in Utah for home production, and we just focused on the goat.
Yeah.
This year, depending, we've got a lot of inquiries. People are like, I just want to come and help pick grapes, and I think I love it because people want to be a part of the process, and I love the harvest because it's physical work. I think I've always been drawn to like literally doing something, and then you can reap the
really?
rewards.
Go figure.
Yeah, I know, right? It's funny. I just talked about it and posted about that today. You harvest a row and you look back, you're like, holy shit, like I just did all that. Like, yeah, it might have taken me 4 to 6 hours, but I literally did that. Like, you just can't replace that.
I didn't realize that's what I just figured a machine goes in and like.
I mean, they do that for big vineyards, but like the smaller vineyards and like smaller wineries, like a lot of it's hand harvest.
They say that the machines, you gotta go, but they say the machines, they change the group
because you might be getting branches and leaves in there.
Yeah.
And some of that's sorted through the harvest, like the stemming or the
when we
stemming
went to
process.
buy our house, the first house we looked at in Malibu was up on Coral Canyon, I believe it was. And we looked, and the backyard was just like a steep hill. And we're like, wow, there's not much property here. And I look, and I'm like, what is that? They go, oh, that's the vineyard. And I go, it's a vineyard?
Yeah.
And they go, yeah, you have your own vineyard, and you and they go, we make the wine. They have somebody come out and take all the grapes, and then they take it to Camarillo.
Yeah.
And they do all the processing for you.
That's
and
awesome.
bottle it. And they showed us. They go, here, we get about, I forget how many 50 bottles a year. They
Nice.
said. About 50 bottles a year. And I said, how is it? And they go, nah. And I was
Not that good?
Yeah, I didn't figure Malibu's not really known for its wine region.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really funny.
And we have 2 dogs, and that would be like all our property.
Right.
And so my wife is like, well, that's where the dogs are going to have to run. And the woman goes, well, dog crap's good for fertilizer. And I was like,
oh my gosh.
It is?
And then you're drinking that?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
And then I was like, well, we know what we're going to name it. Dog shit wine. So
literally.
we'll have dog shit wine for everybody.
Oh my God.
She's like, it's good. You just give your friends a bottle. Like, hey, I grew this in my backyard. And I'm like, here's a bottle of dog shit.
Yeah,
Tastes
so
really good.
90 minutes north is our farm. It's 3,200 elevation. It's got nice diurnal shifts, which means that...
Wait. I thought it's in Paso Robles.
So Paso Robles is where we outsource the grapes, and then our Utah is where we have our farm.
Okay.
So we learned that it's difficult to sell Utah grapes, despite it having great,
the climate's
soil.
really similar to
Everything's amazing there,
California.
but you can't sell Utah grapes because people are like, fuck no, I don't want to drink that shit. So we started learning, like, the goat from Paso Robles. If we outsource grapes, basically we buy grapes from people that are having a hard time selling them. Then we make our wine with those petits
So you
Syrah.
bring the grapes to your farm?
No, we keep them in
we just stay
Paso.
there. We
This
just
is getting very
So
confusing.
when we started in Utah, we would harvest the grapes.
because
we
of
would make
the
our
Utah
home
laws.
production.
The Utah laws are more complex than the California laws. So we said, all right, let's get these grapes and take them to California.
Okay.
Yeah. Since we have a license in California, any winemaker, anything wine or alcohol orientated has to be done in California. So the first 2 years, we thought, all right, we'll harvest the grapes, drive them down there, drive 10 hours, drop them off, do all the winemaking there, use a license, and we can sell. And again, the wine was good, but it's younger, maybe compared to like vineyards from like the 1980s or
Right.
1990s. But now it's like, oh, Utah wine. People are like, wine from Utah. No one even thinks that there's even possible wine, but they don't know that there was history from like the 1800s back in Utah. But people just see that label and it's instantly, I'm not going to drink that wine.
And
they see Paso Robles or they see like Willamette Valley or they're like, oh yeah, that's good wine. Napa Sonoma. Oh, I know that area because
Yeah.
a lot of wine comes out of
Easier
there.
to sell.
Yeah, a lot easier to sell. So, I mean, we did a great job. We sold the wine. It was good. But again, you see late Utah and it's like, if we're trying to break into that market, that's not that niche of CrossFit.
So what are you doing with the farm now?
So the business model is to get the wine license eventually, make a winery in Utah for the Zion tourism, and it's going to be like 1,000 case production a year, if that, and then continue to grow the goat and continue to grow the brand of the goat. So
where do people go to get a hold of this wine right now?
So they can go to thevineyard.space and they can order it from there. The goal with us was when we go online, if you buy it, purchase directly from us, you're paying about half the price for the bottle.
Oh, that's nice.
We want to make it direct to the consumer, make it easier for them to purchase and buy. So if you either buy 6 or 12 bottles, like a half a case, full case, you go to the website, you get it for half the price versus it being higher price because we have to go through distributors, we have to go through retail. So every time we do that, it like adds a percentage and adds a percentage.
Right.
And again, we want to get into distribution.
Really good.
We are into distribution and it's great, but it's like we want to be able to offer it to a better deal. So when people do that, they go online, they can order.
Same thing.
And if you're listening, use code LVNV and they'll give you 20% off.
My wife is a jewelry designer.
Oh, nice.
And she does diamonds a lot, and people don't realize the same thing happens.
Yep.
When the diamond goes from one person to the next, it just keeps getting knocked, added
more
up.
expensive.
And I always tell people, like friends and family and people, I'm like, just hit me up and I'll hook you up. My wife will get it to you and they can't believe the difference.
Yeah.
That they pay in a diamond when you know the person that's getting it directly from where it is rather than passing through 7 hands before it gets to you. That being said, last thing.
Yeah.
How far can you hit a golf ball?
329 yards.
Fuck.
The goal is to hit 350, then 375, then eventually 400.
Back in my day, I think I could have gone with you. Not anymore.
Yeah.
But,
I need to open these shoulders up, though. They're a little tight.
I was going to say, I wonder what all the weightlifting has done to... I don't even play golf anymore, but I used to play a lot. But that is a tremendous... So to win one of the longest drive competitions, what do you have to hit?
So I would need to be hitting, I think, consistently in like 350 to 375.
Fuck.
It just depends because the competition I went to, there was like a lot of backwind. So like the girl who won it had hit it 370 and then it rolled like 3 to 413. So obviously that's huge. It's an amazing drive.
My God.
But then the next week or the 2 weeks later, I think the winning drive was like 310. So it all depends on the climate and where you're hitting.
This is just like CrossFit. I'm getting beat by all the women. Oh my
Sorry, dude.
God. And when you go out and play around a golf, what do you shoot?
So I would say probably right now like mid 80s to like high 80s. Yeah.
82 the other day.
So it's
I hit
just
82.
driving.
Yeah, so I'm just going to focus on just driving. Like, I think I like putting. My putting's not too bad. My chipping's a little rusty. So I would.
Were you ever good, like down in the 70s at all?
No, my best score was an 80, and that was in snow.
Yeah, but
that was in Montana.
snow, man. I mean, like,
I literally would putt, and it would collect snow and like fall over, so it'd like wipe it off.
I never thought that was fair. It was like these kids over here in Malibu are hitting in the sun, and you're over there in the blizzard.
You can't make.
Are
excuses.
you a golfer at all?
No, I drink the beer.
Yeah, it's
watch
a terrible sport. So
it's fun. I actually
the only fun part is driving.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, that's all they should watch is the.
Well, and that's the World Long Drive. That's what I'm going to focus on now, World Long Drive specifically, because of that. And I think it doesn't take as much time to play 18 holes. You can just go hit balls at the range, smash balls for like an hour. Not even that if you're limited on time.
Are you more jacked than all the women that
Yes.
compete in it? When they see you coming, are they like, fuck?
Well, someone thought I was a fitness model, and I was like, well, thank you.
Chloe does CrossFit.
Yeah, so another girl, Chloe Gardner, correct? I think it's Gardner.
Yeah, I think she's
so she
225 clean and jerk.
Yeah, she's out of South Africa. She's awesome. She does CrossFit as well, so it's cool to see people that are doing the fitness. I think there's people that are doing fitness in golf, but maybe not necessarily CrossFit. But I need to work on my golf game compared to all the ladies because it's like the amount of time that I've been practicing since they've been practicing is a lot smaller, a lot shorter.
Oh my God. Well.
Yeah. So.
You're very successful and you're very fun.
He's very successful.
I'll hang out with you anytime.
Yeah,
we'll drink and talk about how you're still a lot stronger than me. But thanks for doing it. Congratulations on the games. You're Invictus is how many teams are they sending this year?
They're sending 2, I believe. So Invictus X is us, the team that just qualified this past weekend, and then the other Invictus team qualified back I think beginning of this year, end of last year.
Yeah.
I can't remember where it was. It was at Dubai.
Yeah.
So do you have to go train with them at all?
Yeah, so that's what we'll be trying to figure out schedule-wise. We'll be in San Diego for business. We got into 3 restaurants there in the San Diego area, so we'll be able to train there and then also do business, which will be nice.
Oh, that's great.
So
I'll be cheering for you. You're my team. I'm going to cheer for.
Hell yeah.
You're awesome.
And then my individual I'll be cheering for is Hunter McIntyre.
Awesome.
I do want to see him defy everyone's display. I mean, just the amount of hatred I've seen online where people are like, fuck this guy, blah, blah, blah. Because I just think it'd be really funny to watch a lot of people have to eat their words and go, oh, wow, we didn't realize that he actually is a pretty amazing athlete. And so if he does, who knows? He could shit the bed the first event and they're like, hey, you're with the guy from Ethiopia now. Out of here.
Yeah, it depends on what they program and workout wise, but I think again he has such a huge aerobic base from all the running and obstacle coursing experience he has.
Yeah.
And obviously I think that experience will transfer over to other movements as well.
Well, and that if this does work out, wait a second. This is the MC, Mark. Remember Mark?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mark, I'm doing a podcast. What do you want?
I'm trying to tell you that you're fired.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. Goodbye. I'll call you back. I'm almost done.
Okay, bye.
I was like, for real?
That was really... No, he's joking. Very professional of me. But it's the end of the show. I always think no one's listening at this time, and we always say, if you're still listening, hashtag still listening, and people write to... Matt, it was funny. I had Tommy Hackenbrook on a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
And we were on for like 3 hours. I go, nobody's listening right now. I go, if you're still listening, hashtag still listening. And Matt Fraser sent Tommy a text that said hashtag still listening.
That's hilarious.
So
that's funny.
So Matt, if you're listening, I'd love to see a Matt Fraser hashtag still listening.
That's awesome.
And wait, what did I say? I was in the middle of something right when I went over there. I forget. Me too. That's how important my shit is.
I can't remember.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Oh, about Hunter McIntyre.
Oh yeah.
Like not.
Oh no!
shit.
If I find out that like it's possible, it'll just be a joke for me. But like, let's say there's like a guy from Ethiopia that comes to the CrossFit Games, and he can't even like snatch like 50 pounds. I'm gonna go get citizenship there, and then
go compete
be
out of
in
there.
the games next year. I just want to get all the free Reebok shit. I walk in, and everybody's like, "What the hell's Eddie F doing here?" And I'm like, didn't you hear? He's the representative from Cameroon.
There's a guy
hilarious.
at her first gym. He's a super nice guy, but he's not the greatest at snatching, and Margaux can out-snatch this guy. He made the CrossFit Games through Iran. So it's going to be an interesting year.
There's going to be a lot of them.
Yeah. And you know what? It's the sports, the community, and whatever happens, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a fun time for everyone. So
It'll be interesting to see for sure.
Matt Fraser's going to crush everyone except for,
I think
Pat Vellner.
Yeah, I think
and
Pat,
that should be the race.
Yeah.
I think Pat they'd have a good.
And who do you think's going to win the women?
It's tough. Tia's very
good.
well-rounded athlete.
Sam looks great too.
Oh yeah, Sam.
Yeah, it's tough. I would say between her and Sam's amazing. Sam has a lot of experience. She's been in it for
she's healthy
years,
too,
and she's healthy. Yeah, knock on wood. Always knock on wood. But I would say Sam or Tia would be one of the viable competitors. They're both amazing athletes.
Do you ever go down to Cookeville and train at that?
I have in the past.
Mecca?
Yeah, we did. I think I've never been to the new location, not the newest one, but I was back there in 2015 and 16. We did the team series with Rich, Josh, Sam in 2015, and then also team training for the Rogue or the Invitational when they had like the World Invitational. Did that back in 2015 as well, so that was cool.
Well, I'm a big fan, and
You're awesome.
I'm looking forward to seeing. I might come to the games for a couple days at the beginning because I got to be in Omaha.
Okay.
That weekend doing shows at the Funny Bone in Omaha, so
Nice.
I can't really stick around. But I might come like Wednesday. And when's it start on? Does it start on Thursday?
I think it'll start. Well, it depends. I think it's either Wednesday or Thursday. I think check-in starts on like Sunday or Monday. It all depends because I think they're doing different days for different like individuals, teens.
See,
masters.
I might just show up for like Tuesday, Wednesday to like do some interviews, and then take off to go down to Omaha. But maybe I'll see you there.
Yeah,
and
that'd be awesome.
Thanks for doing it.
Yeah, hit us up. I'll get a beer with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alex will get all the beers.
I can do that. But what? Your Instagram is
321 GO GAUX,
GAUX,
and Alex's is
321 GAUX.
no, it's not.
Or the Goat Wine.
It's XFit Alex 1.
Just go to the Goat Wine and
XFit Alex 1. Everyone go there and hashtag still listening. Thanks, guys. Thanks for doing it. It was
Thank
great.
you. Appreciate it.